What's up, chat? How's it going? It's Wednesday, and the Warhamster has deigned to appear and give us a new Munitorum field manual, which is kind of awesome. It's now, instead of being a clumsy PDF document, like an interactive like web app. I did have some problems though, which is that just like for the stream setup that I have, which was basically designed for working with PDF documents, I had to just like rejigger everything. So it looks like this now, which is very different. And unfortunately, I think means that my camera on my setup here might obscure some of the actual points values, which is less ideal. But you know what? That's okay. We're we're in it together, and we're gonna struggle through. Now, unfortunately, because this is an initial release, I don't believe that any of the if there are changes, those changes are signposted, which means we may have to go through and talk about specifically units that are changing in terms of their points values. So we'll see how we go. In any case, this also gives us tags on any of our existing detachments, which is something that we didn't have previously. So if there are compatible detachments, we actually know what those are now. Should have been included in the PDFs, but they didn't do that, so it is what it is. But I'm excited to not deal with a massive PDF, so hopefully it will be pretty cool. Let's hop in and let's talk about stuff. I also spent a bunch of time yesterday. I put up all these new lights, which you can maybe see in the background here. And then when I turned them on just before this live stream, I was like, this is so exciting. I'm so excited for these new lights. I realized that they just fuck my white balance really bad. And you couldn't see anything on my camera. It was awful. So then I had to turn them all off. I think that just means I need to invest in a ring light, probably, finally, for my stream setup. It's the lesson that I learned. But it's been an adventure. All right, let's hop in. Let's talk about some Munitorum field manual stuff. And let's see what's going on over here. Don't forget as well, everybody, I'm going to be live on Saturday and Sunday. I'm going to be live streaming a GT using all these new points values. And we can talk about what we got going on. So I think some of the most important stuff that we want to talk about, starting sort of with the TacticalTortoise, is the tags between different detachments. Champions of Faith and Sacred Champions both buff explicitly Celestian Sacrosancts, and so they both do get the revered keyword or reverend keyword. Excuse me, chant. Pop out my chat here so I can see easier. Yeah, so the leader stuff, as long that if your data sheet, like leader abilities, have not changed, then you still use the whatever rules you had previously. So that does not. There's no difference there. If you previously had the ability to, there's some questions in the chat, to dual attach characters, those abilities typically have not. Have stuck around. Like if you have an ability on your data sheet that says this unit can attach 2 leader characters, then 2 units of the leader ability can still join. That's still there. That has not gone away. All right. So I'm gonna pull up some of the previous edition's points values, so that we can take a peek at what we got going on. So I think it seems like most of these values, I don't believe, have changed. Some stuff have gone up very slightly. Exorcist for Adeptus Sororitas have gone down significantly, actually, which is part of those indirect fire buffs that we've been talking about. They basically because a lot of times you're going to be hitting at 6s, they've actually dramatically discounted the indirect fire profiles, and the Exorcist went down 30 points, which is pretty wild. Now, they do have this like duplicate unit tax, where they're actually more expensive than they were previously if you take multiples. However, if you compare them back to back, the first one's actually dramatically cheaper. And I think on the whole, if you bring 3, it's actually cheaper to bring 3 now than it was previously. 3 now, or 3 previously, sorry, it's slightly more expensive. The I guess it's slightly more expensive regardless of how many you take. The first one's dramatically cheaper than the previous edition for Exorcists, but the last editions, but if you take multiple, then they do become more expensive. So previously they were 210, so 2 of them would be 420, blaze it, and now they're 440, so they do go up. They end up going up 10 points. But the singleton, or I guess no. That's not really how you should look at it. The second one costs 220. So the first 2 would be 400. So they are slightly cheaper if they take if you take 2 and compared to previous edition. If you take 3, they're 640 points, which is very, very marginally more expensive. Is that right? No. They're 620 points, which is slightly less expensive. This is gonna throw me off. I'm gonna have to go back to basic grad school math for or elementary school math for grad school. I never went to grad school for exactly how to put these together. Some of them are you get cost based on first and a second unit, which is a little bit confusing. So like Celestian Sacrosancts for the cost a different amount for the first unit. They're only 150 points. Dominion squads, however, cost 100 points for the first 2, and then if you take 3, they get a bonus. Now Dominions do get a upgrade for Melta-Guns, but if we're not taking 3 units, the Dominion squad here is actually the same value as last edition if it takes 4 Melta-Guns. So it seems like a lot of these points values look very different, but actually have not changed, which is kind of, I don't know. It's interesting. Mortifiers are just exactly the same. I guess some of like the smaller units that you do typically spam, like Mortifiers, you would often take in 3s. It's just 3 individuals. Those have not necessarily been changed. Oh, I do like that there is a leader. There's a leader list on the Munitorum now as well, so that's all in your list building section. However, the thing I think is probably important to keep in mind is that I don't know necessarily if there are any changes here, whether that replaces what they have on their datasheet. That I feel like would need to be signposted somewhere, and I don't believe that there are changes. I guess if we look at like Junith, she currently leads BSS Incendence, which I think is new, but I think that they're keyed to leaders in the Sacrosanct squad. Oh, Inky, I'm sorry. I put stuff on your thing. I was let's fix that. I did a bunch of reorganization of my whole space yesterday, and I had some detritus on Inky's cat tower. That's unacceptable. Retributor, Session Vitiates, yeah. So these are all the things that she could join previously, I guess, with the addition of the Incendents, but I do like that they could just add things here rather than try to rework them with complicated abilities that check like other unit joinings. What is very funny is that Paragon Warsuits end up getting a a tax for taking multiple units. My brother in Christ, the reason that Paragon Warsuits are good is Morvenval. You will so rarely take 3 units. That's so funny. You should get a discount for the 3rd unit. Like, real talk. Sometimes you play 2 in Champions of Faith, but I don't know, man. That's like comical. Interesting. There are some costs up for Zephyrim. They are currently 80 points in the current edition. They go up 10, or they go up 5 and then 10, 15, 10 more if you take 3 units. which is interesting because I don't know necessarily if I would put Zephyrim are definitely in the category of like the fast disruptor units that I think that they want to be. They want to be nerfing. However, this is Seraphim. Sorry, I'm looking at. No. Actually, Zephyrim are the same. Excuse me, chat. I misread. Seraphim are more expensive, which actually makes no sense. So Zephyrim is like that disruptor unit that they talked about wanting to nerf because there are really powerful interactions where you can like rapid ingress. You can rapid ingress into hidden, or you can take staging points, and then you can just push your opponent's expansion objective constantly, which is very good. However, Zephyrim, I don't know if necessarily they're the unit to do that because they don't hit very hard. They don't have a lot of attacks. And also, they are easy to kill and don't have very high OC. So they're kind of like the worst of all worlds in that. If you attach the jump cannoness, they're very good, obviously, because they'll apply a bunch of keywords to her. But as a unit by themselves, they're kind of mid. The interesting part is that Seraphim themselves got buffed or got points increased at all because they're dramatically worse now. Because they can no longer move after shooting in the reinforcements after they ingress in. So whereas previously they could drop in and then they could move, now they could drop in and just hang out. So it's kind of this unit that you're like hoping to like rapid ingress or start on the table to do actions, and they're good for maneuver secondaries that way. But I don't know if that's worth additional points. That's pretty weird. It updated the base data sheet. Interesting. Yeah, I mean this has got to be this has got to be the thing, right? This has got to be like what's the word? The take precedence over the core data sheet. I mean, it must. All right, so it looks like we do. This is a document. Thank you, Missing Link, by the way, for sending this over. A document for all of the new stuff that talks about the differences. Okay, neat. So I think the thing that I'm taking away here from TacticalTortoise, I don't know if there's any specific changes in here that are massive, is that it seems like a lot of things are mostly side graded from where they were. And I would, I guess, expect to see that. Although TacticalTortoise are not maybe like the most winningest faction ever, so maybe they sort of approach those guys with a bit of a deft hand. Let's hop into something spicier, and we'll go like from the top. So let's do like Space Marines. So there's been a lot of decreases to things like heavy infantry. JPI apparently went down, which is shocking to me. Let's see where we're at. Oh my god. Space Marines have too many data sheets. We need to legend more of this. Yeah, so JPI used to be 90, right? But if you take 3 units, they end up going up in cost, but in total they will have gone down, right? Because you're ended up spending 10 points less to get there. It's a little bit confusing to get through. So that's actually shocking. Realistically, like the only things that went up are things that like interact with cover a lot of ways. So infiltrator squads, it looks like, have gone up. They're now 110 points from 100 because screening the backline is so important, and they're the best unit at doing that. And I think you'll still take them, to be fair, in a lot of cases. Now, I do say I think Space Marines in general, beyond obviously like those jump pack assault intercessors and stuff like that, they do tend to be kind of a passive faction. They don't necessarily have this like aggressive melee bent unless you're playing specific versions of them, which means a lot of like the base move 6, move 5 stuff, I think is going to be worse than it was previously. If you don't have ways to like massively improve its threat range, I do feel that stuff that just like trundles along at normal pace is going to have a tough time crossing the midline in 11th edition because like cover is less impactful. It's easier to gain lines of sight to things. it's easier to contest objectives from farther away, which is a big thing that I don't know if many people talk about. So the fact that Marines baseline have a lot of this like utility infantry that's relatively slow, I think does speak to the fact that they will probably. So it feels weird to say, but it does feel like they will probably start out a little bit bad. It does seem like a lot. So a lot of the support characters, so like lieutenants and things, have gone down in a big way. Land raiders have also been reduced. Looks like the Redeemer has gone down to 250, which is pretty reasonable. If you take 3 of them, one of the last one, you get a 20-point bump. It goes back to 10th edition points values, but it's going to be so much more difficult to hide land raiders in positions, and especially the Redeemer, which is essentially like a melee unit. Being able to hide that initially in a position where I can move up and then be relevant on turn 2, I don't know if that's going to be so easy. It looks very difficult in the maps that I've played so far with the new updates. The same goes for a lot of the slow vehicles. It looks like repulsor executioners went up, which does make sense. The AP0, like mass AP0 shooting, is going to be good. So I think a Redeemer is even worth a discounted cost. It depends on the detachment. I would be surprised if it wasn't still good in Salamanders. That's the one place I think I would expect to see it. You also have to remember too that it's tremendously annoying to play around its Overwatch, right? Because you can't unless you can charge out of line of sight, which is very difficult. If it can like toe tap the terrain in front of it. It's very difficult not to get value from Overwatch, and even if that value is just like forcing your opponent to play around it. So I think having like a strong Overwatch threat is still valuable, and I think in some cases like delivering Adrax Egatone is going to be good. So I don't know. I do think it will in very specific builds it will probably still be worth it. I do think the time of short range heavy vehicles is probably coming to an end, but we'll have to see exactly how all the mission layouts play out, because I have not played too many besides the first couple that were released. Yeah. The Blade Guard veteran blob, yeah, wants it for sure. I think that's the one place that I would probably still play it. I mean, obviously, like maybe Armored Spear Tip or whatever, but I don't know how much I'm into that detachment in general, because it's 3 DP and it was nerfed massively from release, so I don't know. Vindicator's still worth it? No, Vindicator's not short range. Vindicator's just like a normal gun. Short range meaning like within probably like 6 to 18 inches. Like really, Melta range basically is what we're looking at there. Here you go, chat. So here's a question. So I do have this field manual thing, which is very bright. I wonder if I could dark mode it. Is it more helpful to look at the annotated version than the original version? Oh, I don't have it up. Sorry, one sec. Here we go. Is it more helpful if we look at this or if we look at the actual MFM itself? Shout out to 40K Fireside for putting this together, apparently. But I'll leave that up to you guys. This is much easier to read, but obviously it is just a big spreadsheet, so wouldn't be buying any Vindicators till the Space Marine Codex comes out. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, it's a couple months, right? I think people are scuttlebutting like 3 months. It's not like you won't get any value from them, but I don't know. It would sort of surprise me if this was the time that they chose to like go all in on the firstborn vehicles, but I guess it's not quite as bad. All right, we want to take it. We just want to look into this. I guess we can talk about the actual Minotaurum when we talk about detachments for sure, which I think we should do momentarily here. So let's run through Space Marines real quick. We'll go from the top, and then we'll hop over and talk about some detachment stuff. So Interestingly, there's almost across the board been a decrease in the points value of characters, which I was not expecting because it does feel like characters are very strong. Like actually incredibly strong, to be honest. So like Edrak Secatone have gone down, and Ethan Sean, who wasn't even a leader. I understand in some cases because leaders have to be attached. There's a little bit less optionality, so they have less value. But Ethan Sean's just a lone operative, so him being decrease is actually massive. Raven Guard feel like they might actually be extremely good in this new edition. We'll see. Aggressor squads went down across the board. Terminator Ancients. I don't know. Is it Terminator? Where? Oh, hello. There we go. What happened to the Terminator Ancient? Oh, did the Terminator Ancient get? Oh no, he's right there. Ancient Terminator armor, 65 points. What was he previously? Let's say unmatched. Ancient and Terminator armor. That's I don't know what that means. He used to be 75. He actually went down by 10. I don't know why I don't note that there. That's actually massive. That's really good for Imperial Fists, which I also think are probably going to be strong as well. So that's very exciting. Let's see. Bike Chaplains went down only by 5. I'm curious to see where Outriders are at, because I do think that melee bikers is probably not the greatest unit type in the entire world. Do leaders have to be attached? They don't, but you have to pre-declare that you are attaching them. So the difference is that the leaders could be unattached, but you have to decide that on list building. So there's no longer the case where, and this happened a lot of times in 10th edition, where you rock up to a game and your opponent goes, "Oh, you have a bunch of leaders. I'm going to take assassination," and you go, "Okay, I'm not going to attach my leaders. I'm going to leave them in reserve until round 3 and then deploy them in the back of my deployment zone." So you can't interact with them, and you lose your secondary. So that was something that didn't happen very often, but it did happen. And sometimes you would play like Purge the Foe, and you'd be like, all right, I don't want to give up a leader and a unit, so I'm going to detach my leader from the unit and just play them by themselves. Or, I would prefer to have this leader as a utility piece rather than as to gain its leadership bonus. So you would decide not to attach. That's no longer the case. Now you have to decide to attach when you build your list. So leaders did lose like a little bit of utility there. However, what they gained back is survivability inside their unit. And the fact that now they gain their leadership ability permanently as soon as they join. So, you win some, you lose some. I'm surprised that they have gone down so much. Incursor squads looks like have gone up if you take a singleton. However, if you take multiple, they go down. Oh no! If you take 10, they go down. All right, that makes sense. And Incursor squads are very bad in 10s, so it's like basically no reason to ever play that. But going up makes sense again because it's something that interacts with cover, and it seems like the things that interact with cover and hit modifiers are generally being improved. We talked about infiltrators going up already. Points cost decreases for a lot of the heavy vehicles across the board. Redemptor Dreadnoughts would get a little bit of a bump for macroplasmas. What's interesting is that Repulsor Executioners did not get a bump for laser destroyers. I don't think I've ever legitimately seen someone take the plasma executioner in 10th edition at all. I did see them in, or it was flipped in 9th edition. You would always take plasma and you'd never take laser, and then it was flipped back in 8th edition. I could see a little bit of a bump for the old plasma guy there. Maybe they expect it to have more. It's also got like the new hazardous rule, so it's actually worse in some ways as well. I could have seen a little bit of a bump for the laser version. It feels like maybe. Repulsors are down. Reaver squads are down, which could be good. There's like a universe where Reaver squads are playable. -1 OC effects. If you can pump their speed at all, they actually get kind of unhinged, so that might be sweet. Stormspeeder Hammer Strikes went down again. They interact with cover. Subodenkon apparently went massively up. What is this? Why are there 2 Subodenkons? Hold up. Excuse me. We don't need this article up. Sorry, chat. Okay. Oh god, what the fuck did I just do? Jesus Christ. All right. I just was needed to find this guy. He's only 100 points. I'm lost. I have no idea what this is. I don't know why it says Suboden-Khan has both D and increase, but that's okay. Suboden-Khan's at 100, which is actually great. That guy might be sweet. The interesting thing about Suboden-Khan and some of the other characters is that they gain a lot of their value from their attached unit, so they do lose a little bit of value from the new attached unit rules, where you can, once the unit's dead, you gain the ability. So gaining losing your Outrider squad and losing +1 damage is a huge deal for that guy. So I don't know. Feels like it could be awkward. Also, because you basically have to take him, you don't have to take him in an attached unit. He is okay by himself if you're playing in the White Scars detachment. However, I would be worried about the fact that melee bikes feel DOA. If you don't have a way to increase engagement range, I don't know how you fight with 4 bikers at a time. You just don't. So you're paying for 4 bikers and you're getting 2, which feels really bad, unless your charge rolls are phenomenal. So we'll see. I don't know. Corsaro-Khan being 140 points would blow my mind. Corsaro-Khan also stayed Corsaro-Khan started at like 65, I think, or 70. I don't think he would go to 140. I have no idea what this is referring to. Must be a different unit. What would start with an S and go up by 25 points? I guess we could just look at the things that are 140. We can do some work here. Some reverse engineering. Marnius Gallagher, tactical squads. Is it the Predator Annihilator? The Predator Destructor? Stormcast Eternals? No, Predator Destructors are discussed here. Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea what that could be referring to, chat. It's just weird. It doesn't really matter, though, to be fair. It's talking about Slaughterbound. Suppressor Squad still around at 75 points. Actually, probably pretty good. Deep striking, like fast infantry, is strong. They don't charge, though, which is a big difference. But they do have a -1 to hit effect, which I think is interesting. I guess the weird part is that they are... Oh, they have heavy. They are 4+ ballistic scale base, so they do have a little bit of a tough time shooting through cover. However, the heavy keyword can't offset that. So, suppressors good again? They might be. I wouldn't be shocked. Assault Terminator squads got a massive points discount, and this does make sense. They got a points discount because their Thunderhammers now cost 5. So they just discounted Thunderhammers from the Lightning Claw version guide. So if you take Lightning Claws, you are significantly less expensive. Here's the thing, Chance. The base move 5 melee infantry feels so bad so far. And I think everyone I've talked to has been like, yeah, this slow infantry units just feel so fucking bad. You can like rapid ingress them still, and if you have the survivability to live through rapid ingressing aggressively, it's pretty interesting. But because it's so much easier to gain line of sight to areas, if your opponent is expecting it, they could just tow into places and see you. Now, there's obviously some builds inside with Assault Terminators where you could take Iron Front, or you could take the Maladraxine standard, and you can actually tank through incoming shooting. To the points where it might be worth it, just like dropping sort of aggressively and disrespecting your opponent. However, the problem is that like instead of making a 4-inch charge out of a 9-inch ingress, you now make you're making, I guess your charge is the same, but you have a tougher time getting to future targets because you are just slower than other units. So and the longer charges once you're on the table are really problematic. So I don't know. I don't know if I'm into the Terminators. Uppy downy Terminators probably fine, but onboard Terminators, I don't know, man. It's a lot. Woo. Blood Angels Stormlance, 2 detachment points. Isn't Stormlands 3? Was I crazy? Did I like dream that up? I don't know why. I was just in Space Marines. No, it's 3, chat. You can't take that. Vanguard veteran squads have stayed the same, which is interesting, especially with jump packet assault intercessors going down. I'm curious about like other disruptor infantry because the combination between multiple units is like interesting. So when they talked about like fast melee infantry going up, I definitely expect to see more of that here, but I guess not. Thunderhawk gunship still 840. Get wrecked. Terminator squads down generally, which is good for Imperial Fist. If you're an Imperial Fist player, Terminator squads down is big. And they have sort of ignore cover if you play Emperor's Shield. Thunderhawk, Torgaridon also down, which is sick. Vulcan Heston is down 15. Holy shit. I do think, so I was kind of like mulling this over previously. And I think that Vulcan is actually kind of insane because we'll see how the hidden mechanic ends up working with Go to Ground, but the ability to apply Forge Father from really far away and remain like 12-inch lone opt, essentially remain hidden, is nuts. I think that's gonna Salamanders feel like they're gonna come out of the gate really strong, and I feel like that's a big reason for it. Where these in like sort of smaller independent characters that have a non-combat oriented uh like role are going to be really good, and I think Vulcan's a very good example of that. And then his ability, he's also like wants to play around in like sort of the middle of the table, and he in order to do that he is probably going to be in positions where he can be hidden as well. So I think that's great. He's also tough to kill if you take him with company heroes, and so that on top of already being pretty obnoxious is pretty cool.
Edriong 6931 donated $5 through Super Chat. Just a heads up. Certain Space Marine units and detachments are different points depending on the faction. For example, Bastion is 3 DP for BT.
That's sick. I did not know that. Let's take a look. We'll go back to our thing. That is a big change that I was not aware of. Let's go through. Thank you for the super chat, by the way. And talk about Blood Angels. Do they hit everything? It looks like it. Fascinating. That's going to be very difficult to keep straight. But you know what? I'm into it. I think that's sweet. So there are detachment point changes. First Company at 2, Bastion at 2, Furgris at 1, Legacy at 2, Rage Cursed at 3, Lost Brethren at 2. These did all get the Doomed tag, so unfortunately we can't do the Lost Brethren plus Wrath of the Doomed combo, which we were talking about. Which is this actually pisses me off a little bit because I thought that these two detachments were going to play together, and I thought they were going to be good because they are almost explicitly written to be synergistic. One of them gives you buffs for being damaged, and the other one allows you to self-damage to unlock those buffs. And I literally thought that they were designed to work together. That's very frustrating to me because it feels like a cool piece of design space that they just decided not to go into, which is, I don't know, very annoying. But it is what it is. I think that there are interesting detachment combinations like that they are probably reticent to do, because how dare we ever have anything that like work together synergistically? Headhunters 2 and Carmine Spear Tippies 2 is 1. Anvil Siege Force is 2. Jellic Narrators 3. Ceramite Sentinels 3. Liberator 3. Stormlands 2, yeah. Look at that. Vanguard 2. Does it just you just revert to the codex points if it doesn't?
Adrian
Oh, I think they're all listed.
6931 donated $5 through Super Chat. Also, can we get a Trevi builds a list in the new 11th app at end of stream? The
I'm gonna
111
level.
DP Footsons.
Almost certainly
Sam,
not.
please, for support.
So I would there. I would need to figure out how to use the new app on stream, which I don't know if we have time for. If you're up for like 25 minutes of me like sitting here and like wondering how to make it work, then maybe. But I don't know if I'm up for streaming that, to be honest. So, I don't know. No, the app notwithstanding, I would need to figure out how to be able to do that on a stream, which I'm probably not gonna do. To be honest. So like I would need to emulate it, right? So I would have to figure that out, and then I would have to actually assign the codex points in. That feels like a lot of work. I don't know if people are interested in watching that. Go through. Let's see. Let's talk about some other stuff. No Titan Legion changes, unfortunate. Our goats. I guess while we're here, we can talk about points values and the other stuff. This is gonna be very frustrating. So please bear with me. So we've talked about Space Marines. We can talk about the Space Marine sub-factions. The downside is that I don't know necessarily if I'm going to be able to, like, cross-check back and forth if they are different than the actual Space Marine Codex points values. So I'm probably just not going to do that, to be honest. Eliminator squads went down by 10 points. That's pretty neat. Curious about that. The Eliminator squads don't really suffer that problem where they can't like reserve and then move because they don't really do strategic reserve stuff. Infiltrator squads up and cursor squads up. This all looks identical. It's interesting. The Black Templar's Repulsor Executioner and the Space Marine Repulsor Executioner are basically the same. Sword Brethren went up by 130 points. Wait, what? If you take exactly 9 of them, this looks like a typo probably. Were Sword Brethren 105 for 9 in the last MFM? There's no way. That has to be wrong. They were like 200 something, right? Weird. Terminator Assault Squads. Yeah, this is all identical. So I don't know if this is really worth talking about. All right. Well, this is the least exciting content that I've ever done. Let's move on. Let's talk about a different faction. It doesn't look like the points values have changed much for thing. And also, there's a tiny button here that changes factions. I guess looking at stuff like Deathwing Knights is pretty interesting. That did go down, which is good. Deathwing Terminators went down a lot, which is good, but still probably not playable. But we'll see. Desolators down. The other thing is like the Ravenwing, the Landspeeder Vengeance remains the same, and the Dark Shroud. It also went down by 20. Yeah, so I think the stuff that previously gave stealth is probably going to get a pretty big points decrease as well, I would imagine. Space Wolves. Bjorn remained the same. Arjak Rockfist also stayed the same. I guess he's like the biggest and spookiest guy, which is cool. Brethren were 235 for 9. Yeah, so that must be a typo in the sheet. They just copy pasted the previous amount. Fenrisian Wolves went up for small units and down for big units. You'll never take big units, though, so that doesn't really matter. Where are Headhunters? That's what I want to know. Njal Stormcaller made the same. There's going to be some interesting sort of combinations with him, I think, because the ability to auto 6 advances or improve advance your Grey Hunters units and potentially Blood Claws could be good. Thunderwolf Cavalry went down quite a bit because they're 60 mil based cavalry, which feels really bad. They did go up for Storm Shields. Oh no, they went down because you have to buy the Storm Shields now. Oh, so they stayed the same. I don't know about that, man. That unit feels so dead. Am I off base? It feels like absolutely fucking unplayable. Same went for Wolfguard Terminators. Wolfguard Terminators actually on the whole went up slightly. Oh no, they didn't, because they only have 4 Storm Shields in their unit, so they're actually the same. Interesting. Yeah, like so much of this is side graded. There's not really any changes. Are Grey Hunters the same? Grey Hunters are exactly the same, 165 for 10, which is good with their new detachment. So that would be very exciting. I guess Deathwatch is the we haven't talked about quite yet. Kill teams, points values is going to be very important. So Deathwatch veteran squads are identical. Terminator squads only have to pay for Thunderhammers, which I guess they just accounted for. They're 10 points less. They pay 10 points for Thunderhammers, and you only ever take 2 Thunderhammers. So, because you can take 3 missile launchers, so that makes a lot of sense. Although, I think they did. If you take the 10-mans, I think they did actually end up going up in cost. If I am reading this right, because I think you still only get 3 heavy weapon Terminators, even if you take 10 on Deathwatch Terminators. I believe that's the case. So you are taking more Thunderhammers, but you only get a 20-point discount. That feels like an oversight. Yeah, you always get 3 heavy weapon Deathwatch Terminators. And then any number of them can take Thunderhammer Storm Shield. So if you're taking the larger unit, you would typically taking Thunderhammer Storm Shield on 7 models, and this only gives you a 20-point discount when it should give you a 35-point discount. In fairness, though, basically no one has ever taken 10 Deathwatch Terminators, so I don't know if that matters at all. Deathwatch Terminators, very good in 5s, very bad in 10s. So who really cares, to be honest? Indomitor kill teams went up, which makes a lot of sense. Fortis kill teams I'm interested in went up. This is an indirect unit, and so it feels like they could have made the argument that they lose a little bit of utility from the changes to indirect fire, but it does feel to me like this unit was a little silly at 180. They did go up for both the big and the first couple, and even more so for the third unit. So that's pretty wild for Fortis kill team. So if you do take 3, you're paying like 60 more points than you were previously. That does feel like a lot, but I do think that when you looked at the Fortis kill team datasheet, at least in 10th edition, compared to other similar datasheets, it was very silly. You're like, hold up, why are these guys that pack like 1 million heavy weapons costed like baseline with battle line infantry? It didn't really make sense. They were almost the same points value as Grey Hunters, but they got missile launchers and plasma guns and all sorts of stuff. The Stormshooter Hailstrike is down. We love that. We love to see that. The Stormshooter Hailstrike might actually be better just because of the fact that it itself doesn't have to deal with cover so much anymore. And a lot of times, like the Hailstrike was interesting because what it wanted to do was clear like light infantry, but it was really bad at clearing light infantry because it would rely on the +1 AP buff to punch through cover. But you would need a second Hailstrike to punch through cover. It was like very stupid. And so what it wanted to do was to go like kill 10 Chaos Cultists or something. But the Chaos Cultists would like save on 5s or whatever. And so you would not end up killing 7 of them, but not clear the unit, and they would retain obsec and stuff. But if they don't have to shoot through cover anymore, it's like much easier. It could be a good unit. Although I think that the new regular land speeder might overshadow it. All right. Let's. No turn on uppy downy is pretty bad. But I will say I do think that being able to up down in subsequent turns is stronger than it was. It's more difficult, especially if you're a ranged army. It's going to be more difficult to screen, and you're going to be able to unlock lines of sight much more easily. Plus, a lot of times your opponent's unable to hide off of objectives. So you can't be like, oh, I'm behind a building, but I'm on the objective, but I'm screening the objective, and you can't shoot me. That doesn't happen anymore. And so, if you're on the objective, an up-down unit's gonna be able to see you. So the turn 2 deep strike is stronger than it was previously, has been my experience. So it feels like the up-down armies have side graded, I think, in a very healthy way, where they are no longer this unit that will just alpha strike your opponent out. They just skirmish better than anyone else does, in a big way. Some characters have both leader and support. For example, the Pain Boss. Oh, well, that's neat. I feel like that's something that they'll have to release in a fucking addendum document, which it's kind of... It's grating that they haven't released that yet. So, I don't know. We'll see. Big changes to Adeptus Mechanicus. I was very excited about this new Uniform Field Manual thing, and then now we're just using a spreadsheet. Which I guess is better for contextualization, even if the new Uniform Field Manual is going to be better for reference in the future. Let's see. Some big changes for AdMech. Hashtari Exterminators and Fusiliers have both gone down by an enormous number of points. 20 points for Exterminators, 30 points for Fusiliers. Are they good yet? I don't know. They're still very small. And having to deal with minus with a hit can be problematic, but they don't have to deal with the... I guess if you can find ignore cover on them, it's fine. The Fusiliers have it on their second gun. Oh, they get it against monsters and vehicles. 115, and you get 4 last cannons, right? Yeah, 4 last cannons, and then the 1 alpha with the sword. That doesn't feel terrible, especially because you can source ignore cover on your datasheet, and you can find heavy if you go into Protector Imperative. I bet that's actually probably playable. The Sergeant also gets a las cannon, is that true? I thought that he traded it for the other thing. But yeah, no, you're right. That's definitely what it says here. That's sick. That's really good. 5 las cannons for 115. I'm in. Sold. That you can hide on turn 1. That's a big thing. I think the ability to gain hidden on anti-tank weapons is pretty big. If your anti-tank weapons are efficient enough, I think it's going to be solid. That sounds awesome, actually. The kit comes with the sword, but the data sheet allows both. Yeah, that's weird. I think I maybe only ever saw the picture of it being 4 guys with las cannons and 1 sword guy, and I just assumed that was the war gear loadout without actually looking at the data sheet. But there you go. Yeah, definitely. It's definitely right there that he attaches. That seems great. What doesn't seem great are the changes to Iron Strider Ballistari. So their base points value increased, and they have to pay for a Cognis las cannon now. So the previous value was 85 per model. They're now 80 per model, this is wrong. Yeah, this doesn't have the initial points in it. Okay. So the autocannon version is very marginally less expensive. It's 5 points less per model. However, the last cannon version is dramatically more expensive. 5 more points per model. I guess it's not that dramatic. I guess I'm making a mountain out of a molehill here. Yeah, this is totally fucked, actually. If you take the third unit, the base value goes up to 95, so 105 with the Cognos Lascan. So for the third unit, the Cognos Lascan guys are 20 points later. Or 20 points more expensive per model. So you're basically locked to 2. But I guess it is not necessarily the case that you took 3 all the time. 2 definitely felt like it was the correct amount anyway. And 5 points more for the Lascan version does feel good. Although I think the autocannon is actually going to be relatively effective nowadays because they're twin linked, so the difference in strength isn't like the biggest deal in the world. And the low AP value is not quite as bad anymore. So if you can find a way to get around cover, or you can use the new protection imperative like heavy bonus, which is always, definitely awesome. Where you only move 3 inches, so you can stay out of terrain and then move 3 inches into terrain and then get protector and shoot. Does feel good. Yeah, autocannons you feel like they're probably pretty strong for sure. The castle and robots went down 20 points per model. I'm wondering. Oh, is this 10 points per model? It's 2 for 180. Oh, it's 10 points per model. I don't know if that's enough, chat. I guess like the Phosphor Blaster ignore cover castle and build might be okay. How much damage are we doing with that though? So it's I know it's like everyone's pet unit, but they just like can't seem to figure out how to make them playable. So they can replace their flavor with the Phosphor Blaster, and then they can take they start with Twin Fists, but I don't know if the fists are any good, like at all, to be honest. You can take Twin Phosphor Blasters in close combat. So you can have it's 6 shots each for 180. Or you take the punch robot version, but the problem is that the punch robot version has all of the issues that we talked about previously with units actually getting into melee. I think units of 2 might be okay. It does feel logistically possible to get 2 guys to fight people if you're taking 2, but the 4 seems dead because I don't think you will very rarely get all 4 in melee. So you're paying an extra an extra 80 points. More than that, actually, right? Is that true? No. 90 points to get like at least one guy that will never fight, which doesn't feel particularly good. Taking both fists doesn't increase your shots. No. If you take both guns, if you take 2 phosphor guns, it does increase your shots. Yeah, I don't know. It feels kind of dead. Mobile's not the issue, chat. I don't think mobile is actually like a real keyword, to be honest. They changed so much of the terrain to make it light, so it's breachable by vehicles. And because there's no longer any like big walls, the problem was what you needed to do is hide yourself behind a big L wall and then move through it. That just doesn't, at least in my experience, right, which is relatively limited, to be fair, that like doesn't happen anymore. So mobile's like a nice little quality of life thing if you need to like go through the little corner wall at an objective or something. The problem isn't mobile, the problem is the engagement range, right? So because Castle and Robots bases are so big, they are physically larger than their own engagement range. So if you have a stack of them, the second rank of the stack doesn't get to fight. So you just lose them essentially. What you need to be in a situation where you roll a high enough charge that you can like ring them around the target in a position where the second rank can still pile into engage, which means you basically, in order for the unit to fully fight, you're basically like -2 to charge essentially, right? Like the guys in the back are essentially -2 to charge because they no longer have the extra sort of engagement from being able to fight through their buddy. So I don't know. I'm I certainly could be wrong about how easy that is to do and the way that games play out. But if we were looking at them in the lens of 10th edition, I don't think that this would be a very good unit. I don't. Taking 2 guns does give you extra shots, chat. I don't know what you're talking about. If I take the phosphor shoulder gun and the phosphor fist guns, I shoot more phosphor shots than I did previously. I don't. You guys are silly. What are you talking about? What the fuck? Chat. I'm turning off chat. You guys are stupid. Incredible. Why not just base with the Datasmith and then base everyone behind him? Because basing doesn't give you engagement range. That's the problem. So if I like in 10th edition, I could base the front dudes and then fight through them, but in 11th, I'm not able to do that because their bases are too large. So I need to have more frontage. I need the models to go sideways, and I need to have basically like an inch or two, the guys in the back to be like basically an inch farther forward, essentially. Now it's easier to do because you don't have the requirement to move to base contact with your charge, so you could potentially create a situation where you can pile it. But again, if I'm in a situation where I can move to engagement range but not base contact, then that becomes much more difficult, right? If I have to go to 2, I don't know if the math works that the second rank will actually get to fight, which is why I say it basically means that the guys in the back are effectively like -1 or -2 to charge in a lot of cases. Yeah. Yeah, two model bots could be cool. Do I think there's real value in giving Arbingers mobile? I think it's limited value. It's definitely not worthless, right? Like there is side terrain that getting through is going to be helpful for, but I do not think that it's very high value. If we're looking at it in the context of 10th edition, like mobile would be an incredible keyword in 10th edition, but in 11th edition, it's not. Rust Stalkers went down. What? Okay. Scorpius Disintegrators went down, except their Fairmite Cannon went up.
Briong 6,913
Holy shit,
$2 through Super Chat. Twin Phosphob Pasta has its own profile.
If you take the shoulder gun and the twin arm gun, you get 2 different guns. If I change my flamer for a phosphor gun, I get more phosphor shots than if I wasn't doing that. Oh my god. You guys are killing me. Anyway, I'm not talking about Dungeons Mechanics anymore. This faction's stupid. Let's talk about Eldar. Fucking Dungeons Mechanics. Get out of here. Looks like somehow Behareth went up. Okay. Interesting. Corsair Skyreavers went up. Okay. I guess that does make sense because they are significantly. I guess they're more useful generally turn 1, but like we're in the context of we're paying 5 more points for Jump Pack Assault Intercessors versus Corsair Skyreavers. I will say Skyreavers are good, but I don't know if they're 5 points difference from JPI. Like the Skyreavers are basically combat ineffective, and JPI will just kill everything. I don't know if I like that. Avatar of Cain went down 15. We love that for him. D-Cannon support platforms because their indirect fire went down. Seems good. Death Chesters also went down. There's an interesting thing with I think the D-Cannons actually might be pretty sweet with a points cost decrease, because an interesting thing does happen where The hitting on 6s is problematic for these guys, but because D cannons themselves are so short range, they will typically be shooting things that you have line of sight to. So in that context, the change to indirect fire actually is a benefit for them, because previously it used to give your target cover and you got -1 to hit. Now it just caps your hit roll and your target gets cover. If you're already hitting on 4s anyway, shooting at things in cover, you actually get no penalty from shooting at things that you will have spotted. And because it's like relatively rare for D cannons to just totally interact with stuff that like nothing in their army can see, this might actually be okay. Now, hidden stuff is like a big difference, and the like shooting at hidden things and hitting on 6s is problematic. But if as in anti-vehicle role, I actually wonder if that might be playable. We'll see. Especially like dropping out a reserve or something and just like blasting a unit, it could be good. Death Jester went down. Farseer Skyrunner went down. Do D cannons have support keyword? They shouldn't. Would that be listed here if it did? I guess it is funny that they are support weapons, but no. They're just a unit. They have an ability that lets them embed into a guardian squad. So you can join them to a guardian squad. It's not leadership. It like embeds into the unit. But they are also playable by themselves. It used to be that you could take multiple of them as well. You could take up to 9 platforms because you could take 3 units of 3, but they got rid of that, unfortunately. And you're, I guess you just, if you bought 9, then get fucked, I suppose. Howling Banshee's got a points cost decrease, which is great. I do think also, like, Howling Banshee is, there is a downside for Exarch, or for Aspect Warriors in general, because they now have to pre-declare where their damage is going on their Exarchs. However, that said, having an invuln save does mean that you do not suffer the worst of the changes to cover rules. So you win some, you lose some, I guess. And this unit getting a points cost reduction is great because, again, it's like that style of unit where they run onto objectives and steal things, which is neat. The Revenant Titan is unchanged. RIP. Shadow Weaver platform went down a lot. Shining Spears went down a little bit. Could probably, I guess we could maybe see a little bit less for them, but we'll see. Solitaire went down. Oh no, Spirits here went down. Solitaire is the same. Sky Weavers and Shroud Runners both went up. Up for Sky Weavers. Oh, it's because they interact with cover. That's why. So Sky Weavers, if I remember correctly, are -1 to be hit and have stealth, which is interesting that they wouldn't just change the datasheet instead of like making them really expensive. Yeah, so they don't have stealth, but they can gain cover. Can you stealth them with a Starfang? Actually, I have no idea. Does that require infantry? I think it might. But they have smoke. They can just gain stealth for a command point. Ah, look at them. But then they also gain you have -1 to hit them permanently. So they can stack those two things together because it's a -1 to hit and a -1 ballistic skill effect. So they are essentially can be like permanently -2 to be hit for ranged weapons as long as you're applying them stuff. Actually, I'm interested in the Starfang thing. No, it's infantry only. Yeah, that's what I thought. So we can't shoot hallucinogen grenades to grant stealth to mounted units. Fortunately, thank goodness. However, this unit's very strong. I'm interested in the fact that they elected to keep that ability unchanged instead of just changing, it just like massively increases the points value of the unit. But I guess it's not massive. It's only 5 points per model, but it does make sense to me that they would do that. These units, especially like Shroud Runners in the Coaster, Coterie plus Outcast detachment combo, seem incredibly strong. Skyweavers seem very good, and a bunch of the Harlequin detachment and a bunch of the other things. So I think that this feels like it might be a change for the detachment power rather than necessarily the unit themselves, because otherwise I think mounted stuff did go down for sure. They're also long. Yeah, but their base is really big. They're like actually round. They look like they're long. They look like they would be able to like do a Doomsday Arc thing where they poke out a terrain or something. But their base is fucking massive. So they actually like get encompassed by their base, I think, in my experience, a lot of times. They're on like a 60 mil for a little biker guy, which is pretty wild. Swooping Hawks went up. I guess Swooping Hawks are less impacted by cover than other units because they're... No, I don't know if that's the case necessarily. Swooping Hawks going up is interesting. I don't know why. Huh. Anyway. Spirit Seer went down, which is nice. We love that. Starfangs went... Or didn't. We didn't put our points value in. Which is 75. They went down by 5. I do think these units are probably going to be not too bad. These guys don't shoot and scoot like a lot of the other similar light vehicles, but they are very fast, and they're not the easiest thing in the world to kill. They won't die to like random anti-infantry shooting. You have to dedicate something like not very solid to kill them. They're only 6 wounds, but you know, you have to dedicate something. And they're OC2, which is nice. Being able to move 17 or even farther if you do the assault thing, and is going to be strong as well. So we'll see. If they shoot it and scoot it, I think it'd be amazing. Void Weavers looks like our bugged a little bit. Went down 35. I don't know if any of those points values are correct. Void Weaver is just 115 with no other stuff. So this is definitely wrong. Third plus. Yeah, I think this is the actual Void Weaver. Oh, and this is Vibro Cannon Weapon Platform. No. I have no idea what this is supposed to be. This looks typoed maybe. Warp Spiders went up because they're sort of aggressive infantry, and basically all the Wraith stuff went down. Wraith Knights went down. Let's go. They are towering, so I think that they get the plunging fire bonus now. Oh, but it's only with Ghost Glaives. If you take Wraith Cannons, they ended up being the same. All right, well, fair enough, I guess. I did see some people who are up on Wraith Cannon Wraith Knights, saying that they're going to be very strong. And I don't know if that's necessarily the case. We'll see. It does feel like without the +1 or the +1 save from cover, a lot of the 2+ save stuff is going to die really quickly. But I guess we'll find out. I don't know. And then that's about it. Yeah, fair enough. Good stuff. If you take Sun Cannon and Shield, they're 20 points cheaper. Yeah, but you have to take the... Taking the shield sucks because you cut your damage in half, which is like... That's pretty brutal. So it's interesting. A lot of the Space Marine stuff feels... I mean, it's probably because Space Marines are in the starter box. But a lot of the Space Marine stuff feels like pretty good, right? Eldar, I guess, being fast and skirmishy, Eldar do have like they play the core of the game a little bit easier, but I am surprised to see some of the stuff like Howling Banshees is a unit that they basically explicitly said would be being increased, not necessarily explicitly, but they were like fast melee infantry is something we're gonna take a look at. We're gonna increase in cost. Then they're actually like dramatically less expensive. Whereas like a lot of the little faster units got like upcharged in a way that feels like a lot. I don't know. We'll see. Militarum. Looks like we see changes to Basilisks, Bulgrin. Canadian Shock Troopers went up. Everyone was like, guys, this is gonna be crazy. Canadian, you were gonna take massive numbers of guard infantry. It looks like they have all increased in cost. Okay, so that I think what we're coming to is that the Warhammer community article that described what to expect from the changes was just fucked. That was just wrong. None of these are the same. Death Corps Krieg up, Canadian Shock Troopers up. Catch Jungle Fighters up. I'm gonna level chat. This sucks because Astra Militarum generally pretty cool, but Horde Astra Militarum fucking miserable, and I hate it. I absolutely no remorse for Horde Astra Militarum. Play tanks like a normal person. Death Riders down. I do wonder too. Fortunately, the Attilan Rough Riders, which I'm sure up the top here, there they are. They're unchanged. I guess they were very inexpensive previously. So 12 points per model for a guy with a like strength 12 d6 damage lance or whatever, strength 10 or whatever it was, is very good. That said, they are cavalry. They do get hit by the engagement range changes, but they are smaller based. So I do wonder how much they get hit in general. I like they have a net point calculator here, which is very funny. These are Nemo the Fishners for sure. Yeah, it's okay, chat. Just become a Chad, Lehman Russ enjoyer instead of being a degenerate infantry squad enjoyer. I do believe as well that there is likely to be an increased sort of level of the units like sort of the turn 1 Cash and Jungle Fighter Jam, or all these like these big shock trooper bricks with all of the medics and everything. I do think are actually like probably better than they were for a couple different reasons. The first one being that they end up being able to engage at a much sort of greater level. So the new melee changes, which sounds really weird, are
Beyond
huge.
6,931 donated $5 through Super Chat. Guard 20 mans went down a ton technically. They want you to not run 10. Tyrannid 20 mans went massively down.
Is this wrong? Am I just looking at the wrong numbers, chat? That does look like they went up. 145. No, they went up. Yeah, what are you talking about, chat? So previously, like Acadian Shock Trooper unit was 120, and now is 145. Is it like the command squad change? Is that like a difference? 65. And the old command squad points were 65. No, command squad's the same. Yeah, they just went up like 25 points per unit. So, I don't know, chat. I don't know what you're on about. All right, where are we at? So what I was saying was that I think that there is gonna be like in previous in 10th edition there was this dynamic where like the large unit was very good at body blocking itself from base, like moving to base contact, and then being able to unlock pile and consolidate moves for like massive amounts of OC around the table. And with objectives being larger and the melee rules being dramatically more forgiving, I do think there was a danger, which is probably what they're trying to head off at the pass, about these units being able to manipulate charge and pile-in rules to like fuck with primary and to a much greater extent than they did previously. There's also the case, and don't forget, that they like squad level hazardous weapons are more impactful. So if we have these shock trooper units that have like 3+ plasma guns in them, and they're firing them every turn, they'll actually be able to use them more consistently because they take less hazardous damage on the plasma gunners themselves. They take more hazardous damage on the unit, but you can assign that damage elsewhere now in 11th edition. You do not have to assign to the model firing the hazardous weapon. So you can kill las guns, who nobody gives a shit about, in order to preserve your plasma gunners to a greater extent. And you don't have to rely entirely on medics to bring them back. So it's not like all bad, but I do think that it's very, very minor mechanical upgrades for a pretty dramatic points increase. So we'll see. Kazakhstan are up. Krieg combat engineers are up. Lehman Russ. Vanquisher went up by 5 because it was the cheapest one. Everyone took it a million times. I would have liked to have seen the Executioner get cut a little bit because the new hazardous rolls are very dangerous for it. Taking 3 damage 30%, like 33% of the time, is pretty brutal for a chassis that only has 13 to begin with, right? So you're taking almost 25% of your total health on a failed hazardous check, which feels bad. I don't know. And the fact that those are twice as likely to happen is a pretty big downgrade. Lord Marshal Dreyer went down. I actually love this guy's data sheet. I think he's fun. I like it. I like him for the ability to rapid ingress in and then or to drop in out of reserve and then throw a billion orders around. I think it's fun. Although I do think that 100 points was like laughable for him. he's like so mid. Lord Solar Leontis remained the same. A lot of indirect fire went down. Ogren squads. Oh, it went down in 6s. Yeah, who cares? We can't fit those into transport, so we're not that excited. Outside of the Doom Lord, but I don't know who's taking Doom Lords. Torox Prime, also down. Valkyries and Wyverns, also down. Oh, Tempestus Scions, massively up. That's the one where I was, oh, they're up even more if you take 3. Yikes. I mean, Tempestus Scions, I think, a lot of the scuttlebutt was saying Tempestus Scions would be incredibly strong if you like combo Bridgehead Strike with literally anything. I liked the mechanized armored infantry detachment, so you could get like +1 to wound out of transports and then get full hit and wound reels. That seemed great. It does feel that paying an additional between 5 and 15 points per unit is going to be a lot. Although the 15 points actually isn't that big of a deal because you almost never took 10s, right? If you were playing the mechanized infantry, you would take 5s, and then you would attach a bunch of characters into them. So the 10 was kind of not even that relevant. And then if you were taking 10s, you would take Kazrakin anyway, which are only up 5. So I actually, on the whole, I guess this isn't that big of a deal. It's just disincentivizing you from taking the deep striking 15-mans. Which I guess makes sense. Like... The rapid ingress, like a sort of aggro infantry, they do want to like depower a little bit. It feels like a lot though. I don't know. It doesn't feel quite as insane as like +2 points or plus like 1.5 point per model, 1.25 points per model per like Cadian shock troopers. I don't know, but it's definitely big. Guard are being punished for Bridgehead last Christmas. I think Guard are finally being punished for recon element, and they just haven't. It just took them like a full fucking year and a half to get there. They're like, guys, we somehow have constructed the most disgusting list in the game. However, no one like plays it, so it's fine. Yeah, Helldrake, I think, is being punished for being an airplane. They have no idea what the fuck to do with the airplane, so we'll see. All right, chat. Let's move over and talk about Chaos Demons, a faction after my own heart. Winged Demon Princes apparently went up. What does the Winged Demon Prince even do? It has like, it like chooses a prey, right? It's really bad. The Chaos Demons one. For whatever reason on 39k, Chaos Demons are like the bottom faction. Oh no! It's they just have finest hour, like a bad finest hour, and they choose to give themselves lethal hits. I guess that's okay. I'm kind of curious why that did increase. I wonder if there's a detachment synergy there we're not thinking of. Maybe. That feels like a strange one to increase. They did decrease the cost of the foot Demon Prince quite a bit because they give stealth, which is not very helpful. Thank you. Does not stack with cover anymore, so a lot of times you're not getting anything for the guy. So he's kind of dead anyway. Bellicor went up, which does I think make sense. I think Bellicor is going to pay a little bit of price for Shadow Legion. Where I do think Shadow Legion is going to be like super disgusting, and Bellicor is the heart of it. Being able to upcharge that for 15 points is big. Although he's not necessarily required for every version of Shadow Legion. If you play like the Demon Horde build that is almost certainly coming, you don't really need him. Bloodthirsters somehow went up. Oh, they're paying for the new fly rules. That's what's happening. They're increasing flying monsters because of the new fly rules, where you can move over anything intervening for two points of movement. That's like kind of a nothing burger of a rule though, and Bloodthirsters were already basically unplayable, which is very interesting because if you look at their data sheet, you're like, how is this guy bad? And then you play him on the table and you're like, oh, I get it. He either does nothing or gratuitously overkills whatever he hits and then dies, having killed something that's worth 1/3 of his points value. 320 and or 330. If you take 3 Bloodthirsters, they should be cheaper. G-dub, not more expensive. What the fuck? Is like wild. That's insane. I guess it also hits the Fade Thirster, which is relevant too. Beasts of Nurgle went up by 5 points per model, which makes total sense. Those guys were kind of silly at 65. Blood Crushers went down 5 points per model, which makes a lot of sense. More points if you take the big unit. Interesting. I hope that they play with the fact that in some cases taking fewer of a unit is actually worse. Obviously it's not necessarily the case for demons. It doesn't really matter. Like you usually don't have enough points to take multiple like 3 Guos or 3 Bloodthirsters anyway. However, we talked about the Paragon Warsuits earlier. Paragon Warsuits are really good in their first unit. Their first unit should be the most expensive, and all the other units should be like 30% less expensive than that one. There's definitely some in cases where taxing the third unit makes absolutely no fucking sense. The Flux Master has gone up because he gives you a -1 to hit effect, so he stacks with cover now, which is big. Also, having like I was gonna say having an invuln save matters here, but he has the same invuln save as his unit, so he actually doesn't matter. Great Unclean Ones went up, probably because they can be affected by cover now, which is big. Keepers of Secrets, Swords of Change, Snarglings, and Pink Horrors all went up. Keeper of Secrets up is interesting. Even with the new cover rolls, I still don't think I think Keepers of Secrets actually get slightly worse because they can no longer take their Shining Aegis and stack it with cover. So there was like a reason to take the upgrade that would give you +1 save or a 3+ armor save. Now you'll just never have that because like everything punches through it. And so you just like increase their damage output basically. So like you've kind of lost an option almost because you just have a nothing burger of an upgrade on your unit on your data sheet. I don't know about that. Keeper Secrets are already not very well played, and I don't know if that's going to change. I mean, it's obviously they're going to get played less. Lords of Change up makes a lot of sense because they have psychic attacks, and those are really strong. Plague Bears are up. Plague Drums are the same. Randmaster on Bloodthorn went down. That's actually sick. That guy rules. Skullmasters down. Man, they're pushing Blood Crushers so hard. This is crazy. Seekers went down if you take 10. Torment Bringer went down by 5. Neat. Neato. Played a demon army, his Bloodthirsters killed 145 points before dying. Yeah, that's the classic Bloodthirster problem. Or you charge something that's worth like nothing, and then you miss 5 attacks because they have no built-in rerolls, and then you lose the game because your Bloodthirster died. Yeah. Yep. I think like the real problem is that the Bloodthirster's like so easy to kill. He's T11 with basically just hit 4, but he has a 3+ armor save, but who cares? Like that literally doesn't do anything anymore. So he's basically just like he's T11 with a 4+ invulnerable save. And like any high volume shooting will just like chew through him immediately. So the issue is that like he never gets a second crack at it, right?
Young 6931 donated $2 through Super Chat. Does Shadow Legion have its own points for SSM?
I would be shocked if it did, but we'll see. That would be in the Chaos Demons section. It doesn't appear to. Just normal stuff. Yeah, the engagement range change really does hurt crushers, but they have an upgrade if you take cavalcade that they can increase it to 3. Oh, I guess it's like it's worth talking about detachments for these, right? Because like those upgrades are pretty relevant. So it's like plus 10 points per unit, which basically offsets a lot of the the new points decrease. And you can get 3-inch engagement, which means that they actually basically go back to where they were. In some cases, it's a little bit easier for them to fight, which is cool. I didn't look at any enhancement buffs, which is a big deal. Which I definitely should have, for sure. I was so excited to talk about points values and things. All right. Well, it seems like Demonic Adventuring Party might be bad, which makes me sad, but it's okay. We have Tyranids back, so it's fine. Chaos Knights. The Asterius and Porphyrion went up. Get fucked, I guess. What? Were people playing those unironically? That makes no sense. What? I guess like toe tapping. Oh, they already could toe tap trade. They had fucking towering. I don't know. I just don't want people to play it. Acheron went down, which is good because it was kind of a silly goober of a guy. Atropos is the same. Castigator went down. Might be sweet. Lancer went up, which makes sense. Styrix went down. Despoiler went up, but their Gatling cannons went up a lot. Holy shit. What is the... We have to look at this. Chaos Knights, where'd you go? How does this work? It seems like the document's a little confused. Chaos Knights. So Knight Despoiler. Oh, I see. They have separate points values for Gatling and Battle Cannon. So the current points for a Despy is 390 all in. So they went down by 10 and then also went up by the second and third went up by 10 or went up by, net 10. So if you take 3, you net. This is brutal. This unit's dead, right? So if you take 3, you went down by 10 and up by 20. So you're up 10 points. And if you took 4 battle cannons or 6 battle cannons, you're up 150. So you're up 160. Or if you take Gatling plus battle, you're still up 120. Does that math work? 50? No, yeah, 150. 160 total if you take 3 Gatling cannon versions. 130 total if you take Gatling plus battle. Jesus. That's so much. That's a lot. That's crazy. Points arcs are to counter plunging fire? Yeah. Interesting. I mean, it does make sense. And you do have access to ignore cover if you take Infernal Lance, right? But I think we're on like Lords now because it's 2 DP. So I don't know. I think this was, I can't remember when we went through our 1 section. I'm gonna sneeze. Oh, woo. When we went through our compositions, we sort of, it was difficult to construct like a build that made sense. You're basically like, you could take Bastion of Tyranny if you wanted to splash the Tyrant into one of the other detachments, right? Like Lords. But the other one was you just like take Hunting Warpack because you might as well, right? And Iconoclast Fiefdom, I guess it isn't quite as efficient to take demons anymore because demons are more expensive in general. But like you can get most of what you got from Iconoclast Fiefdom just out of demons, right? So instead of being able to like buff your damage output using cultists, they just like give you a defense buff and you can take cultists, which is neat, I guess. But like you kind of want the damage coming out of the big knights, and the big knights being so much more expensive. I don't know, man. I don't know. Also, Warlock Carnivores went up. Get wrecked. Only by 5, though. That's interesting. I don't know. Yeah, we talked about the units having their different points values for Space Marines. It became like, I guess, like, candidly, it became a lot to keep track of, and we sort of ended up skipping them for the sub factions. Keeping all of the points values straight became very difficult. I think what's going to end up happening is like there's going to be a little bit of a cultural shift. I do appreciate the balance implications of like splitting out all the different sub factions and making them like mechanically distinct. I do think that there's going to be a little bit of a cultural shift where instead of just like talking about points values sort of freely, we're all just going to build lists inside the list builder and then like assume that that's correct. Right. I don't know. It's going to be more difficult to like talk cross faction if we're talking about this stuff.
At Dex_Paints donated 20 Norwegian kroner through Super Chat. SM Claude Termes 155p versus 180 with Ham SH. Thoughts?
Yeah, I think there's definitely some places where the Claw Terminators go pretty hard. The big ones people talk about is Blood Angels, which apparently, I've just now learned, gets Stormlands Task Force for 2 detachment points instead of 3. So you could take that alongside one of their 1-pointers, and you could get like Advancing and Charging Terminators. Or you could take it in, of course, Liberator Assault Group is the other one where they become really good. They get Advance and Charge for a command point in that detachment, and they get +2 strength on the charge as well. So they go to like strength 7, right? Twin linked. Though that unit has been traditionally strong, and getting a big points decrease on top of that is kind of big. So I think Blood Angels especially would be the place I would look to play that probably. I don't know necessarily. I guess like you could maybe find some places in like Templars or something. Because they can like source a passive +1 to wound in the low strength stuff. So being able to like accept any challenge on Lightning Claw guy is like +1 to wound and twin linked, which is kind of a big combo. Yeah. So I definitely like them for sure. Talk about Chaos Space Marines, I guess, for a sec. The Abaddon the spoiler went up. I'm excited about Defilers. Jump Pack Lord went up, get wrecked. Chaos Bond went down, interesting. Cultist Mobs went down. Forge Friends went down, but up per Ectoplasma Cannon. So they're actually up 5, which does make sense. Felgor Beastman down, nice. They have turn 1 Ingress, right? So that's actually kind of sweet. Helldrake's down. MOE down. Masters of Maelstrom up, makes sense. Mutilators down. Not RIP, I don't know. I don't even know if that saves them. Possess went up on big units only. Red Corsair Raiders went down on big units. And that was it. Wait, are Defilers the same? No fucking way. There's no shot. Oh, they're not here. Oh, I misspelled it. Oh, okay. No, it went up. Just kidding. I don't know how I missed that. That's a big section. Am I stupid? Yes. I think the answer is conclusively yes. First, second Defiler went up by 50. And if you take any of the non melee versions, it went up another 20. Oh my god. It's 50 for the melee version only. It's 70 for the other versions. It's probably still playable, chat. I'm a level. I think you could play one. I don't think it's the worst thing ever. They're dead? I don't know, man. Here's the thing. It's all AP1 shit, right? And so they don't care so much about cover. If you're playing them in like the PBZ combo, it's easier for them to gain line of sight. It's harder for them to Overwatch, which is relevant. And their Overwatch sucks more. but it's still not bad. The number I watched when we were streaming over the weekend at ACO, I watched Defilers just kill units in cover with Overwatch with no buffs. It wasn't like, oh, I get lethal sustained and I get rerolls or all this shit. They were just like, I'll Overwatch, and then the unit with a shot would die. And it was like, what the fuck is going on? So like, you can still probably play them without Overwatch. Now, I do think Hidden changes a lot of Overwatch for like backline support units. Because you can hide from Overwatch, it's actually much more difficult to trigger. So Overwatch is generally less powerful, despite the fact that it is more difficult to sort of enable. But the other thing too is that like move 12 lets them move up and unlock terrain much more easily too. So I think you can still play them, chat. I think you can play them. It would be okay. I think 300 was the points value they should have released at. 320 is more than I expected, but 300 is the baseline for sure. I could see the melee one being slightly less expensive for sure. I could see the melee one being like 290 or 280 or whatever, but I do think 250 for the platform was like pants on head, and it was extremely clear they were doing it to sell like product. Emperor's Children got up for 290. That's actually probably still strong. Unironically, I think you still take one for the coterie. Like to being able to unlock coterie buffs early without having to give away Noise Marine squads is such a huge deal. I think you still take them in Emperor's Children. The 1,000 subs one is 270. All right, I'll go fuck myself. What the fuck? Is it 270 with guns? I guess we can do them next, right? We don't care about Titan Legions. Let's just go to the 1,000 Suns section. No. Okay. The 1,000 Suns one is 310. That's more reasonable. 290, and if you take the 2 heavy Reaper autocannons, it's plus 20. I think that's fair, which you for sure will do. 310, much more reasonable than like 290 or whatever. Yeah. Hey, Helldrake got a 40-point discount if you're playing 1,000 Suns. Magnus the Red, Lords of Change. I would expect like massive increases for a lot of these things.
Adriong 6,931 donated $2 through Super Chat. Magnus, Trevi's beloved.
Listen, my boy got ignore cover on the gaze now. That's kind of a deal. I don't know. Rubric Marines went up. Which actually, I don't know if Rubric Marines necessarily needed it. Rubric Marines, like, actually got kind of worse. So that's interesting. But I guess, like, if you're going to upcharge, like, the whole character combo, I don't think you need to upcharge the Rubric Marines themselves. That's actually interesting. Scarab Occult Terminators went up, which makes sense because everyone's playing 3 of them. Terminator Sorcerers went up. If you take 3, okay. Zangor's up a little. Zangor's 5 or 10 mans went up, 20 mans went down. And then the characters are like just the same. Disc Sorcerers went down. Interesting. So I guess that where's like a MOP? Master Possessions? Oh, no. Infernal Master. Master Possession is not the same. Infernal Master is the same. Infernal Master, I think, actually got a massive buff, which is that his flavor now ignores cover. Which, in fairness, like all of the psychic weapons now ignore cover, but it was big for the Infernal Master because he was the one of the Torrents that didn't. So him not getting a points increase is kind of a deal. I guess he doesn't get the benefit where he ignores other hit modifiers because like he doesn't need hit modifiers anyway. Oh, regular sorcerers went up by 5. Okay, so it feels like most of these 1,000 Suns lists are going up. Like probably the Scarab Occult Terminator brick goes up quite a bit, right? Because you get plus 10 plus 20 for the first 2 Scarab Occult Terminators, plus 40 for the plus 20 for the second one, so plus 40 total. Terminator Sorcerer Armor, went up 5 or 10 times 2 is 20 plus 20, another 40. So they went up 80. And then if you took the version that had any rubrics in it, they also went up by 5 or by 10. That's a lot. That is a lot of updates. That's huge. Let's backtrack for a moment to where we were. We can talk about Death Guard. I guess we'll just do all the Chaos sub-factions while we're here. Death Guard Defiler also went up. Beast of Nurgle also went up. Shocker. Wayne Demon Prince went down. Foul Blight Spawn went down a lot because he gives you Fight First, which is like a nothing burger of a keyword now. Blowtron, Heavy Bite Launcher Blowtron went up, which makes sense. Mortarion went up. Myphitic Blight Haulers, were they 100 previously or were they 90? They were 100, so they changed. They didn't change. That's typoed in the document though. Plague, drones, and marines all down. Plague marines down makes sense because again, it's like move 5 infantry is more difficult to get into melee, so that's a unit that is going to be tougher to engage with. And it doesn't seem like the fetid Virion mechanics have changed dramatically, so you can still dual attach a bunch of shit and like make them super good at shooting, which I think is going to be in a lot of cases where they get played. Plague Burst Crawlers also went down, which is interesting because they went down by a lot. They went down by 25. I think we might be back to like a Mortarion's hammer kind of thing. The reason being is that they hit on 6s, but I believe that they only require 1 6 to trigger their ability, right? It is each time you select a target for the Plague Burst Mortar. Oh, it doesn't even require a hit. So a lot of the damage that they dealt, right, was from this effect, to just splash damage. And that hasn't changed at all. Fascinating. Plus, you can just shoot guns the normal way. When you get up close and personal to people. Like once that it's really only that like you don't get to absolutely fucking lambast people top of 1, but like as the game goes on, you're just gonna have dash rod terminators like up in your opponent's shit, and then they can spot for your things, and then you hit on 4s or 3s anyway, so it's not a change. It's only really a change for a turn or two, and they're still doing all their mortal wounds anyway, and they're now doing it at significantly less cost than they did previously. Seems good. Plague for Scrawlers stonks up. I guess they are high save characteristic vehicle with the new cover mechanics, which is not helpful for them very well. So I guess like you win some, you lose some, for sure. Lord of Contagion remained the same. Lord of Poxes went down because he can I think his ability's capped now. You only cap your contagion at 12, so you can't stack additional contagion buffs on top of him to make him even better, which is that's a big change. And Destro Terminators also unchanged, which I guess is interesting, but they can rapid ingress 6 inches now is the difference, so they're actually way better. Good stuff. Emperor's Children, we said we would do all of the Chaos factions, so we're gonna do it. Emperor's Children Defiler is at 290, so they're 310 with the blast cannons, which I guess is fine. 310 is fine. I think that's okay. I think you can still play 1 and you'll still be happy with 1. Looks like a lot of their demon stuff went down, which is good. Fulgrim went up. Get fucked, I guess. Really? That's stupid. Okay, but his fights first got nerfed. Why, chat? Why do they hate Fulgrim? Why is he not allowed to be a playable unit in the game? All the demon princes went down, which is great. They're all pretty solid for Emperor's Children. Lucius the Eternal went down. Oh, because fights first. Yeah, of course. And the fucking Seekers went down, and the Sorcerer went down, a unit no one's ever played. Okay. His -1 to hit is better. I mean, I guess. He's also... He's, like, comparatively worse at moving, though, right? Because, like, he has to pay to go over his own stuff. Intervening stuff, whereas previously he didn't. Although I guess, like, sometimes he can go over walls, but as we've discussed, like, going over walls is kind of not real. So I don't know. That's kind of wild. Are close deep strikes like Demon's Death Shroud and Sub-Assault going to 5? They're not. Unless there is some sort of bizarre change in the addendum document that we haven't seen yet. None of those are changing. So you actually just have to make 7-inch charges out of a close deep strike instead of 6. It does fuck a lot of those detachments, I think. Especially in conjunction for incursion and subterranean assault, in conjunction with the fact that you can no longer ingress turn 1. Although demonic incursion needs an FAQ because demonic incursion requires that you arrive, so I think they might still be able to top down turn 1. But I've been playing it like they can't, just because I don't want to play it wrong. A lot of those attachments I think are way worse. Fulgrim can be -2 to hit. I mean, if you have no way to mitigate cover, but like, come on. And no hit bonuses and nothing, you know? Let's talk about some stuff. Angron also went up. All right. Predator Annihilators went down. Spawn went up. Bloodthirsters went up. No one was really playing them, so that's okay. Their Defilers went up by 40. It is funny how like recontextualize the Defilers, where you look at like the 320 point Chaos Space Marine one, and you look at this one, you're like, oh, I could see myself playing a 290 point like Emperor or World Eaters Defiler, when previously they were 250 and still like sort of played only sometimes. No changes to a lot of their infantry. Karn the Betrayer did go up, which is interesting. I guess like he is attaching into a unit is significantly stronger. For a character like him, because a lot of times he's going to survive the first hit anyway if he's in a big unit of berserkers, and then he's going to be able to swing back, and then you kill him, and then he gets back up, and he likely swings back again. Scarbrand went up a little bit. Mauler Friends went down. Good. Forge Fiends went down. Also good. Helldrakes went down. Still not good enough. Corn Berserker big units went down. All right. Well, I don't know. Winged Demon Princes went down. Definitely was expecting some more changes, I think, for these guys. But I do think, I don't know, they do benefit quite a bit from the new Pipeline Consolidate rules. However, making all charges at -1 is a big deal. I think people were underestimating how big of an impact that would be. And it seems like a lot of World Eaters players are unhappy with them. Big flying monsters went up because they can go through walls. Yeah, but they don't. For that to be relevant, they would have to put walls in the game that mattered, though, is the problem. And also, it didn't like happen across the board. It's like inconsistent. Like some big flying things did not change at all. Which is weird. I don't know. It just feels. I'm sure there is a reason, but I don't know what it is, and it feels kind of difficult to parse. We can talk about. We're going down the line. We can do. I think that we have skipped one faction. Drukari, I believe, is what we have skipped. Hellions, holy shit. Okay. Get fucked Hellions, I guess. Plus 1 point per model, basically across the board, and your 3rd units will be even more expensive. Mandrakes also went up, which does make sense, because they're uppy downy boys. The weird thing is that the Hellions are mounted, so they don't have like a lot of the good keywords that are really strong. They can still like do funny reserve things, I guess, but they have like it is, I don't know, it is awkward for them to maneuver sometimes. The Chronos went down if you take 2, which no one does, so it's fine. Homunculus went down because it's not very good. Cavalite Warriors got a little points cost to decrease. Lilith Hesperax got a points cost decrease. That was not expecting that, but I'm sure people are excited. Ravagers also got a decrease. I think Ravagers might be actually okay with the new pivot rules. Like being able to hide and then pivot around into positions is not too bad. Oh, excuse me. They actually went up. Just kidding. I missed that their Dark Lance has changed. Just kidding. Sorry, Ravagers. I was too excited. Heavy weapon Scourges stayed the same, though. If you take Haywire Blasters or Dark Lances, you get plus 5 points per model, but you get 20 points decreased on the core unit. So if you take them with, like, the Splinter Cannons, I guess, you get a really cheap unit. But nobody's really that excited about Splinter Cannons these days. And then Talos. Talos, Haywire Blasters went up by 5. Otherwise, Talos went down by 5. So they're just the same. So you get a little decrease if you don't take the Twin Haywire Blasters. But they can take is it Heat Lances? If they don't take the Haywire? The difference is that the Heat Lance is 1 shot on a 4, which is like probably a 5. The Twin Haywire is at least 2 shots, so it has 2 chances of hitting the attack. And it's Twin Link Devastating, so there's a great chance that you can do Devastating to the things you didn't target otherwise. But honestly, Heat Lances are like probably fine. It's just less consistent against vehicles. It's like, I mean, much more inconsistent, just like firing indiscriminately. But you could reserve them into Melt to 3 and then blast people. So that's pretty neat. The problem is cover for that weapon, I think, in general. But you just like get it. You kind of get it for free. If we're expecting to shoot vehicles largely in cover, and we don't have a way to remove cover naturally. The other Scourge is an AP bonus guy, right? Yeah, +1 armor penetration characteristic. They don't give ignore cover. Yeah, I don't really know if you really care about what they're doing with their guns that much. I think it's just like a nice bonus. So in this way, you can just get 5 points off your Talos by taking the 1-shot gun instead of the 2-shot gun, which I think is pretty cool. What does the engagement range rule do? So basically, like if your unit is fighting another unit, you can extend your engagement range by 1 inch to measure whether you can attack them. So there's a problem with mounted units right now, which is that the mounted stuff, because you can no longer chain bases, the mounted stuff it's much more difficult for the mounted stuff to actually get their second rank of models into engagement, and the extended engagement range basically lets them do that. It's, I think, actually like kind of required for those units. That's probably the reason that we saw so many discounts on like Blood Crushers and stuff for Chaos Demons, is that they then basically recoup all those points by paying for an upgrade that extends their engagement range to 3. So it's really important. Yeah, like the Thunderwolf Cavalry feel like super duper dead. The 6s anyway, the 3s maybe. But even then, like trying to maneuver them into a position where you can sort of get stuff around, it seems tough. Yeah, I think that as long as like any one dimension of the base is long enough, right, it becomes an issue. Because you are having to go that much. You can't, as long as the range of the base that you were trying to tee off of is longer than 2, then you're gonna have a tougher time doing stuff.
Beyond 6,931 donated $5 through Super Chat. Heat Lance Scourge's new meta. They reroll hits for a paint token. 20 points cheaper 2 and Melter at 9, so they get it coming out of these. Also Assault.
I don't know. I think maybe for the 3rd unit I could see it. But I don't know necessarily, because the other weapons you very consistently get heavy. And the interesting thing you can do in a lot of cases is you can move 3, shoot with heavy, and then move back, and then just repeat the cycle. So if you're trading shots with people, the Dark Lance version, it basically doesn't care about cover anyway, because you're just also getting +1 to hit, so who cares? And they're basically like impossible to engage with at the distances that they're playing in. because they can be hidden early game, so they can just deploy in the open in most cases, and then they can shoot and scoot in and out of terrain. So I don't know. I think it's probably still on the long range scourges, but I do think that like there's probably almost certainly a case for like one scourge unit to shoot close. Um. Aberrants got a 15-point increase for Genestealer Cults. Man, Genestealer Cults got like just a bunch of points increases. Pierce Range Genestealers up 5 on like on small units. Reductus Saboteur up 5. Sanctus up 15. I guess they expect you to take the Killer Detachment. And Killer's Retreaters up like a bunch. Jesus. Adelan Jackals up? Why are Adelan Jackals? Oh, because they're minus... No, they have stealth, right? Adelan Jackals? They have stealth. They don't have minus 1 to be hit. I don't get it. I don't know why we're playing so many points for these guys. Acolyte Hybrids up. All versions of Acolyte Hybrids are up. Achilles Ridge Runners went down, but you have to pay for mining lasers. Well, the singletons are the same, but you only ever bought mining lasers on the units of 2, so they basically are unchanged, which is good, I guess. This feels weird. I think they are the big thing with this faction is that we need to change their army rule. Even in the detachments where you play a lot of the little units and less of the characters, I do still think that you need to have the army rule affect the character units. It's pretty fucking wild that it doesn't. And then just respawn only the bodyguard models and not bring the character back. It's kind of insane it doesn't do that, but in a lot of these cases, like these points don't really make sense in that context. This is very strange. I guess like Genestealer Cult's got one of the best selections of detachments, 1-point detachments, and they have a very good selection of 2-point detachments that they can stack it with, right? Like Outlander Claw and Biosectic Brood Surge are both phenomenal. And there's even sometimes you play Xeno Creed, right? I guess we can look and see if any of them got keyworded, because that would be included here as well. This is a faction where talking about detachments is probably very relevant. Where are you at, Genestealer Cults? Boop. Down to the bottom. GSC might be too good at recon. I could see that. Yeah, so... Oh, Biosectic Brood Surge cannot duel with the Pure Strain detachment. That's a big deal. But you can still take it with Heroes, which might be okay. There's also something to be said for, like, Final Day plus one of those. I don't know. I think that was definitely, like, one of the combos we were talking about. But that, of course, is now, we have learned, no longer useful. Interesting. So that is worse than we gave it credit for. But I think that, like, Heroes of the Uprising is probably fine just in, like, on a baseline. Although, fucking Genestealer Toxins is 35 points. Fuck me. Maybe that's not worth it. That Sanctus is so good. The 3 damage anti-infantry, like, devastating Sanctus or whatever, but, like, he's like 100 points. That's a lot. He's like 100 points for a move 6 dude. Well, move 6 goober. I mean, you can rapid ingress him and go punch people. I actually think he's probably fine. I think he's probably okay. But he's 65 points plus a 35-point enhancement. Yeah, 100 points and probably 2 command points to get the full wombo off, and then you could still roll ones to hit and die. Or I guess, like, you would have to reroll into ones. You could roll 2s to wound. That's the failure point. This is difficult to judge. Shit. These are a lot of points up. Like most lists will have increased by like 100 points. But like, do they play the missions that much better? But also, we need to see a new version of their army ability. I don't know. Interesting. Grey Knights. So, funny thing here is like coming off the back of like every Grey Knight player I talk to, look at all this fucking green, dude. Every Grey Knight player I talked to was like, dude, Grey Knight's got the worst Muniterm field manual. They're so fucked. The faction got destroyed. Brother Captain up 5. Brotherhood Librarian up 10. Brotherhood Terminator's up 10. Brotherhood Terminator's up 10 for the third unit? I do not know how to read this. It must be for the first two or whatever. But like Brotherhood Terminators, whatever. Like Paladins went up if you take 3 units. They went up very slightly. They went up 20 if you took 4, or 25 if you take 5 side cannons. Okay. Nemesis Dread Knights are the same. Their Nemesis Grandmasters are up 5 if you take supplement or heavy side cannon like Wombo combo. So I don't know, man. These changes do not seem dramatic. Purifiers did go up if you take side cannons, which you never did, so that's interesting. I guess they just want to keep the consistency, but purifiers are almost always incinerators if you're taking heavy weapons because they're so close combat oriented. Purgation squads went down by 5, but then up 1 per side cannon, which is fair. So they did end up going up 15 for the first 2. A big question for them is how expensive the upgrades are in the Purgation detachment. I'm gonna have to remember all these fucking detachment names, chat. Where the fuck are Grey Knights? Oh my god, right, literally in the middle. So inside the what's it called? Fires of Purgation detachment. Boons of Deimos. I don't remember what the names of these are. Somebody help me. Which one's the one where you get +2 strength and whatever? Oh, for whatever reason, it didn't save my Grey Knights faction pack. Thanks, computer. You're the best. We have to get it from the Warhammer community. Here we go. Fires of Purgation. Precognition, or Boons of Deimos is +2 strength. Precognition volleys is snap shooting Xena 5+, which is fine, but whatever. So it is +20 for the extra strength. So you might do that on a big unit. And the big units did get less impacted by the side cannon, cost increase, right? So the big unit's actually +10 points off the previous version. They're 220 plus 20, 240. Plus the 20 points is 260. So 10 dudes for 260 that have like strength 6 and 10 ranged weapons is actually like probably fine. That you can give like sustained hits to and stuff. So that seems pretty okay. 3 stop is now exactly 2,000. Absolute base. 2 stop is plus max. Let's go. Interceptors are the same. So like for the most part, the big, huge, basically like they got upcharged if you take lots of infantry side cannons. And if you don't take the units with lots of infantry side cannons, your points values are actually largely the same. If not down in some cases. So this seems fine for Grey Knights. I don't know. Imperial Agents. Aquila kill team. -100 points. Is that true? Oh, for a 5-man. That looks like a typo. It's a bunch of random increases. Yikes. Poor Imperial agents. Oh, it looks like they increased a lot for the if you take them out of faction, actually. Which does make sense. Yeah, if you take them in faction, basically nothing changed. Neat. Imperial Knights. Are Grey Knights stonks increasing? Grey Knights stonks do seem to be skyrocketing for sure. I think Grey Knights are going to be very strong. Imperial Knights, Asterius Warfare went up again, like we talked about for some reason. Armature, Helverin, and Moirax went up. But according to this, Chaos Knight Moiraxes get costed in duplicate, and Imperial Knights didn't. Is that true? I fucking love this document, by the way. Once this has points changes in it, it's gonna be so sick. I love doing this way so much more than scrolling through a giant fucking PDF. It's probably easier for them to, like, now that it's written, it's probably easier for them to update too. They just have to go in the back end and do it instead of like re-exporting and re-uploading a new PDF and then writing an article that showcases it and everything. They can just be like, hey guys, MFM update, and there's just a little thing in there. I love it. They could even highlight changed factions on the front page too and do a whole thing. It's gonna be sweet. What are we looking at? Armiger Moirax. Moirax, where you at? Oh, he's at the side. Oh yeah, it is 3+. You get the extra 1 point. So it's the same as Chaos Knights, I believe. They just didn't include that in this thing. Unfortunate. Acheron down, Cascader up. These look basically identical. I guess the Serasis Lancer went up to a greater extent than they did in Chaos Knights. Because Chaos Knights only went up by 10. Like Castellans went down, Crusaders went up. And rapid fire battle cannons went up. So Crusaders actually went up like 25, which is a lot. Is there a way to take, can you take a Crusader without taking rapid fire battle cannons? Oh, I guess you can take, can you take Venture and, oh, you can take Maltas, right? You could take the thermal cannon as one hand, which is honestly probably pretty good because you can Mysterious Guardian into Malta. Oh, yeah, I could already do that, so it doesn't matter. Yeah. Oh. I guess it makes sense that the one AP weapon that got impacted by cover in a big way previously that now just shoots a million times without any penalties is slightly more expensive. Knight Crusaders were not like taken to the same extent as the Knight Spoilers though, which is interesting. Knight Defender went down quite a bit, which is probably pretty good. Knight Destroyer went up. That doesn't make any sense. Okay. There is a Destroyer build in, is it Freeblades? Freeblade Companions that's like super cool. Where he has like a trillion like D6 plus 2 damage melee attacks. It's like 9 melee attacks with like hitting and winning at 2s on with rule 1s. It's really cool. It's the one place I could foresee myself playing a Destroyer and not being upset with it. Knight Valiants went down, and Knight Styrexes went down. Neat. That's Knights. We are down to the last couple. We're down to all the exciting ones. Votan, Tyranids, Tau Empire, also Necrons. Votan! Arcanist Evaluator went up. Didn't he just go down in the last update? That poor guy's got such a case of whiplash. I hear Champion went down by 5. Hearthguard went down by 5. Champion actually probably got hit a little bit by the fact that so he has to lead a unit to teleport, so you can't independently teleport him, right? Because that's not how the teleport quests work. And then he also can't choose to detach it from a unit. Not that you necessarily would, but it does feel like cheaper on those guys is good. He's like less strong as an independent operator too, because like while he still does work, he has a tougher time making charges. If he gains his leadership ability, permanently, which would be neat. And he got +1 to charge, to advance and charge. I think he would actually be sick independently too. But that would, I guess, also necessitate that his teleport crest goes to permanently active, which would be amazing. Let's see. Hecatan Land Fortress went up very slightly, which does make sense. I know some people were confused about that, but it's because it naturally ignores cover. Or it now naturally ignores cover. It didn't previously, but now it does. Ironkin Steeljacks with Vulcanite Disintegrators went down. Sick. Melee weapon Steeljacks went down also. Sick. Melee weapon one's a little bit less exciting because of the fact that it's hard to charge with them. And also they can't stack their defenses with cover, so that's a big deal. But it also means that the Vulcanite Disintegrator guys, if they can shoot something that has had its cover stripped from it by a Brokir Thunderkin, likely will do more damage. So we'll see. I guess it just like necessitates that you get the cover stripping more realistically, but if you can find buffs to hit with them, then I guess it doesn't matter so much. If they're shooting at something, if they can find like a reroll and they're shooting at something on an objective, they actually just hit way harder than they did previously, even without the buff of a Brokir Thunderkin. Sagittor went down. Uthar the Destined went down. We love to see that. Neat. I think I would be relatively happy with the fact that a lot of the faction didn't really change. I guess the third Hecatan Land Fortress went up even more, which is a lot, but that's the case like across the board. So I guess it does hurt the factions with a more limited unit pool that the third unit is upcharged. So I hope that they keep that in mind going forward, because like Emperor's Children and like Leagues of Votann are gonna really feel it on the third unit there, because those are both like really teeny tiny factions. It's like I would prefer not to take 3 land fortresses, but what the fuck else am I taking, kind of thing. So I don't know. I get it. The Hernkin detachment. Oh, did they do like actual updates to the faction packs? No. Is it just in the Munitorum that they keyworded upgrades? That's gonna be a problem if they did that. No. I don't know what we're talking about, chat. Did they make changes and not noted in on the changelog? It's in Farseekers. I don't know what we're talking about here, chat. I'm gonna level. I'm not sure what we're doing. The upgrades and the strats changed? I don't know. That says Hernkin. I don't know what we're referring to. Anyway, seems fine. Necrons. Oh, the Catan shards went up again. Okay. But Canoptic Wraiths went down. Okay. Chronomancers went up because they give you -1 to hit. Canoptic Reanimator went down. Doom Scythe went down. Flayed Ones went down. Down across the board, yeah, because they're move 5 melee infantry. It's going to be tough. I think Flayed Ones are going to be incredible for utility. Like, having Infiltrate feels very strong right now, but it's going to be much more difficult to actually apply their damage because they're just going to have a tough time getting in. Ghost Arc went down massively. That's a big deal. I saw someone, so we live streamed somebody over the weekend playing Star Shatter Arsenal with a Ghost Arc as their initiator piece. So a lot of times, like what you need in Star Shatter Arsenal is a unit that can go contest objectives on turn 1, that can get the target of chrono impedance fields, but they like don't you don't really care about, right? It's cheap and it's tough to kill, and your opponent has to overextend into it, and that then gives something that your Doomsday Arcs can shoot at. And usually it's a Triarch Stalker because they scout, so they're really fast. But he was playing a Ghost Arc because it has 14 wounds. And is good at clearing infantry, so it can like shoot at other utility stuff pretty well. And it was like watching people attack it was just absolutely insane, because you would just like be firing at this thing and you have to like keep reminding yourself like this is a 100-point unit. And you're firing at this thing with an invuln and -1 damage, and it's just like the damage is ticking down, and then you don't quite kill it and it just heals back. You're like, fuck, oh my god. It looked frustrating as hell. I think even in like the Star Shatter Arsenal build, there's definitely potentially a place for that. Although obviously these big long arc units are going to be much more difficult to hide in this edition than they were previously on most of the layouts. We'll have to sort of play through the layouts and get an idea of how it works, but it seems tough. Immortals went down for the big units, which is actually great. Locust Destroyers went down, but up if you take more than 2, which is helpful. Locust Heavy Destroyers, who knows? This looks like it's broken. Locust Heavy Destroyers looks like they went down for 1 individual until you get to 3, and then they went up by 5. And they're just down 5 otherwise, yeah. Okay. All the Locusts getting decrease is kind of huge, actually. Necron Warriors went down, Necrostar Amatar went down, Night Scythe went down, Obelisk went down, Ophidians went down. We super need an addendum for this faction. I'm a little worried about Necrons here, chat. Like, obviously, Catan Shards getting changed is a big deal, but like, with the new Nine of Sight rules, it might be that like you don't necessarily want to take them quite as much anyway. But all the other builds, just like look at this fucking sea of green, bro. Oh my god! I guess some of the lists that were taking like multiple immortal units, like they get cut on. No, all the immortals and like all of their attachments don't have like duplication taxes. Tombblades do. So if you play like Hypercrypt Legion looks disgusting. Hypercrypt Legion plus the mounted detachment looks absolutely fucking miserable. Or you could do the one with the monolith detachment where you can like drop the monolith. You can like bring guys through the monolith and give them rerolls and stuff. Monoliths did go up very marginally though, I guess. Honestly, Necrons look great with these points changes. The stuff that was increased was either Catan Shards, which is like fair, but also basically like a singleton in your army. Like, did Doomsday Arcs change? No. Holy shit. I guess it's if you take 3, they did get hit. But literally like everything else went down. Fuck. This looks good. Yeah, dude. Yeah, the Destroyer stuff looks fucking nuts. I guess let's look at detachments. So Hypercrypt Legion did gain the Hypercrypt keyword. So did Pharaon's Armory. Oh no, we already knew that. That's not surprising. I don't know why I reacted like that. That's what it was printed on initially. So Cursed Legion and whatever it is, the mounted destroyer thing, Sky Shroud Spearhead can be taken together, and Hypercrypt and Sky Shroud Spearhead can be taken together. Canoptic Core, unfortunately, cannot combo with any of those, which is good. Thank God. But this feels fucking sick, either here or here. Bro. I don't know necessarily if the Awakened Dynasty stuff is still alive, but it might be. But it also feels like you could just play Star Shatter Arsenal just fine. I don't know. I bet there's stuff there. Actually, Canoptic Court does also feel fine because they give you rerolls, so you can basically punch through cover more easily, and it gives you it has access to ignore cover for a given point as well. So I think Canoptic Court also probably fine. I for one welcome our returning Necron Masters. The Overlords have returned to the game. Woo. Have we learned nothing? Orcs. Oh my god. Speaking of a sea of green, it's a green tide of points cost reductions. What the fuck? Ard Case Battle Wagon did stay the same. Fair enough. I like that the Battle Wagon doesn't get the duplication tax because they're like, fuck it, you're never going to play 3. Joke's on you. I'm playing whatever, like the wagon detachment all day. Beast Snagga Boys down. Beast Boss and Squigosaur down. Mega Armor Big Mac down. Shock Attack on Big Mac down. Regular Big Mac, get fucked. But that's okay. Big Mac Dakka Rig. What's he at? I guess he didn't change because he wasn't a unit before. If you take 3, he's 110. Okay. Big Boss comes in at 55. Blitz Obama at 105. Boom Dakka Snaz Wagon. At 70. Boss Necrot 75. Boys down. Big down for the 20-mans, which is huge. Breakup Boys down 15 points per unit. Fuck me. Okay. Dude, alright. Tinfoil hat on. It does feel to me like Orcs, the 2 factions that are in the starter set got fucking massive points cuts. Look at this green, chat. Look at all this green. If I were to put my tinfoil hat on, it feels like they want Orcs and Space Marines to be strong out of the gate for all the new people buying Armageddon. I don't know. Also, Orcs started at a very low point anyway, so Orcs, of course, deserved it, I think. More so than Space Marines, for sure. Not that Space Marines didn't need some stuff to go down, absolutely, but I do think Orcs are in a much worse spot to begin with. Let's see. Mega Knobs all down on every unit size across the board. Morkanaut down. The Stompa down 200. Okay. That guy gets like massively. He gets impacted by cover in the worst ways, both ways. Although I guess he gets Plunging Fire now, so maybe that's something. But he doesn't get to stack the 2+ save with cover, and his invuln save isn't that good. And then also he doesn't ignore cover, so he gets hit by it the other way too. Squighog Boys down big because they can't charge anything anymore. Tank Bust is down. Truck's down. War Bikers down. Where's Luda's at? Where's Luda's looking? Luda's are the same, looks like. But if you do take Sag Luda's, then the Shock Attack did go down. That's to unlock any sort of hit rolls that we can find. Although I do think I would expect that we're likely on Bully Boys, plus something in the early days of the edition, and so I think having things like the Breakup Boys getting a massive decrease is kind of a huge deal because you're like taking 3 units of those guys with War Bosses or whatever, plus like a unit of something with Gazgul Thraka. So I would expect for that to be where that ends up. +1 from the Big Mac. Oh, I guess you can offset it with a Mac. I guess that's maybe fine. Local orc player chuffed, yeah, for sure. I do think, like, in fairness, chat, there's gonna be some cases where, like, you can play around cover. I don't think it's necessarily fair to say that, like, orcs could never shoot, but I don't think you are gonna be playing, like, the random, like, the random, like, fucky, whatever, flashgate units or whatever. You're just gonna play your shooting units, like, a little bit more, particularly. There's also Well, so you have to see how the core rules work. There's some weird interactions with critical hits. Where if you have a improved critical effect, it can sometimes change your actual hit result. But I don't know if that's if that works in the core rules. I guess we can take a very quick peek here. It might say that you have to have a successful hit. If only Adobe worked. God fucking damn it, dude. Why didn't I open these from my hard drive? I don't know. It takes so fucking long. An unmodified 6 is a critical hit. Critical hits are still hits. Critical wounds are still wounds. In addition, any other rules that can be triggered by a critical hit or critical wound. Okay. So it does not... It is no longer the case that a critical hit automatically succeeds. Because that is the case in 10th edition, is if you have a hit of a 5+, it says like a hit of a 5... Hit roll 5. Unmodified hit roll 5 is like a critical. It critical hit automatically succeeds. I guess this just adds additional rules context. It doesn't necessarily automatically work. So if you have improved critical hits, I guess it wouldn't necessarily be a hit. Is that true? A critical hit is a hit. So if I roll an unmodified 5 and I have like improved critical effect, do I hit? That's an addendum question, I think. There's basically no way to tell that from what the information we have right now for 11th edition. Because then there's like there's a bunch of ways to get improved critical hits in orcs, right? Cult of Speed's the big one. And so if you can get like even shooting into cover, if you can get 5-out criticals, your guys are gonna be fine. But it depends. One thing we have is a full rulebook in the app rather than a PDF. I mean, if the rule isn't there, it's not there. I don't know. If we're looking at a rulebook, I don't know where looking at it would change what's in it. Let's go to Tau Empire. Assume you hit unless the ballistic skill is 6. Well, that's the thing, right? So if I say if I roll an unmodified 5, my ballistic skill is 6 because I'm -1 ballistic skill. I started ballistic skill 5 and I get -1 ballistic skill. But an unmodified 5 is a critical hit, and a critical hit is a hit. Do I hit is the question. And it seems like the answer is I don't fucking know. We'll find out, I guess. Huh. I see. Broadside battlesuits have gotten +5 points per high yield missile pod unit. So if you take the big high yield missile pod squad, you're gonna pay a lot of extra points, but they are -5 points for the railgun, brother. The railgun broadside's so good. Here's an interesting question, chat. And I'm sure once I start to build lists in the app, we're gonna figure this out. But here's an interesting question. Does the order I add units matters, right? So if I'm gonna play a 3 broadside battlesuits, right? I'm gonna play 2 units of 2 units of 1 and a unit of 3, and I add my 1 first, then it's cheaper than the third one. So I will only ever get the tax if I have multi-model units of multiple guys. I would only ever get the tax on the cheapest one, right? Unless I guess the app has like different list building rules or something weird. You can't choose where the tax goes? What do you mean? I just add the third one, the most expensive one first, and then it never gets taxed, right? So if I wanted to play, like, I think, I mean, who knows what's the meta is going to be currently, but like there is an argument to be made based on points values and stuff to play 2 railgun broadside teams, 2 railgun broadsides, and then 1 broadside high yield missiles team, right? And so you add the high yield missile team first, and then you get 2 broadsides, and you only get the third unit tax on 1 broadside, so you pay plus 20 points for the third one. First cost, right. So the difference is that what if one of those three, if it's 100 points per the unit and then 110 on my third, sure. But if one of those three costs 180, where I put that in the sequence matters quite a bit. And exactly how that works is like very weird. That's very strange. It's actually going all of them. It'd be a lot, right? Like then the third broadside ends up costing you like 100 points. It's like I don't know. It's pretty weird, strange. It's just on the third unit added according to the app. Well, I don't know necessarily if it's the case in almost any other instance that there is a spammable unit that's different that you would take in multiple unit sizes. I'm sure there is somewhere else that we'll talk about at some point, but that's interesting. That's very interesting. So basically, if I'm playing the 3-man broadside battlesuit team, I'm always going to add that first, right? Because I'm going to pay 270 for it. And then if I take singletons, I'm always going to add them second and third. So I'm gonna pay 240 for the 3-man plus the high yield missile pods. So I'm gonna pay 255 for that unit, I guess, and then I'm gonna pay 75 for the second one and 95 for the third one. Interesting. Yeah, we'll have to take a look at the extended rulebook. I might do a second live stream after this one. To also answer Hippie Hunter's super chat from earlier, because I need to set up. I put this off too long, I think is the real talk. I've been spending all weekend on my stream overlay for this coming week, so that I can live stream 11th edition stuff, and I have. What I didn't do is like set up an app viewer on my streaming setup here, and so that's what I'm going to have to do. So what I'll probably do is once we go through these factions, what I'll probably do is turn the stream off, and then I'll come back and we'll go through the rules addendum, because it sounds like that's where a fucking shit ton of information is. Starside battlesuits with Tau Flamers have been increased. Sunforged battlesuit teams are down. Just in general. Okay, sick. Ghost Scale battlesuits are down. Oh, but the Ion Raker went up. That makes sense. It's kind of wild to be like, hey guys, we're gonna take a Ghost Scale battlesuit, which is a lone operative unit that it like is impervious from long range, and then give it an incredibly good long range gun. And you're like, oh, okay. I guess I will never take anything besides that. That seems good. Hammerhead gunships went down. I guess because they're big and annoying, but it's weird because they fly. So you feel like if we were to be internally consistent, they would go up. Crude Carnivore's down. Crude Hound's up a little bit. Sure. Down for a big unit. Trail Shaper down. Pathfinder teams went fucking down. I guess they went up if you take ion rifles instead of railing rifles, but that's still wild. They went down and aren't being taxed for 3 units. Motherfucker. Holy shit, dude. What is happening? Ion Accelerator Riptide is just the same. Dude, Tau is going to be disgusting. Disgusting. I was like, we have to wait till points changes, because maybe this faction isn't as fucking insane as we think it is. Nope, it's worse. What the fuck? Are you so like we just looked at like this and we're like scratching our heads. We're like, how does this make sense? The real question is, how does this make sense? What the fuck? Holy shit, dude. Riptides, yeah, they went down 20 if you take the gun. But like if you're playing Monka, you could take either one, honestly. Like the ion cannon on the Riptide is like pretty good, but the you could still take the burst cannon with lethal hits and it's fine, and you can focus fire it for +1 AP. And now you're trading with 180 point units instead of 200 point units. Fuck me, dude. Yikes. bro. We can take the tinfoil hats away. Yeah, guys, there's no tinfoil hat. They're just dumb. Holy shit. Fortunately, chat, most of the battle suits have ignore hit modifiers, not ballistic skill modifiers. So the cover, they still get hit by cover, except that it's Tau and everything's going to be guided by a marker light. So they actually don't ignore cover. They do ignore cover. In fairness, there's like a weird thing that will happen where your spotters will have to push forward to shoot at hidden stuff. So like sometimes you can access spotters more easily, but like, come on, man. The points decrease on this faction is fucking wild, dude. I guess it's not really a points decrease because like your third Riptide costs very marginally more. It is generally points decrease like mostly across the board, right? If we're playing like the broadside battlesuit list that was like triple Riptide plus the broadside team, the broadside battlesuit team went down 15, right? And then you could take the Riptides at down 20 if you wanted to. And it's just like a question of whether you value the more shots or the higher strength more. But if they're 20 points less, you're taking them for minus whatever, minus 40. And then it costs you, I guess it costs you 30 more points for the third one. So you're netting 10 free points if you take the other gun. And then like if you take the ion guns off the Pathfinder team, you actually just net 30 more points as well from them. So you could be looking at like as much of a decrease as 100 points. if you transition some of your utility units to different stuff, right? We take like Farstalkers in some cases, and that's wild. That blows my fucking mind, dude. I cannot believe that they came out with these points values. Does guiding work as before? Guiding has not changed. Fascinating. Well, Tau are gonna be disgusting. What did Tyranids last? Nice. Hormagaunts went up by 5, which I guess makes sense. That unit's kind of disgusting right now. Maliceptors went up because they're psychic. Neurolictor, Neurotyrant all went up. Although the Neurotyrant, as somebody has pointed out to me, lost its ability to attach to Zoanthropes, so it's actually worthless now. Which also kind of kills the Zoanthropes, which might be something that needs an FAQ. Norna Simulators went down. I guess an interesting question for Tyranids is how expensive their new enhancements are. Because Norna Simulators with the 4+ Invulnerable Save enhancement, do you feel like they're going to be strong? $25 points. So it's actually, they just are the same, but they get a 4+ invuln if you play them in the Norn detachment. Huh. That seems good. Norn Emissaries went down. That's solid. Old One Eye went down a little bit. He's like fucking dead DOA. Poor guy. Maybe Old One Eye +1 Carnifex is playable if you can deliver them in like Subterranean, but the Old One Eye +2 Carnifexes build I think is dead. Because you can ever get like more than 2 of those guys into melee. It's basically physically impossible unless your charge is insane. Pyrovores went up. Okay. Did Biovores stay the same? They did. Biovores are interesting. Oh, actually, did they? This doesn't look right. I thought they were 50 previously. Am I crazy? They were. They went up by 10. Biovores are interesting because they aren't pure upside now, because almost every primary mission has a kill something objective in it. Biovores giving your opponent units to kill as you're scoring secondaries with them is actually kind of a big deal. So they're interesting now. I'm curious about the place of Biovores in the new thing. new, what's the word? The ecosystem. Tyrannofex is down, but Rupture Cannons went up. Acid Spray went up. So Acid Spray Tyrannofex is actually netted down. Sick. That's awesome. And then melee bioweapon warriors went are the same. Last Rip Tyranid Prime went up, which is honestly fine. So the Last Rip Tyranid Prime plus the Hormigaunt unit went up by 15, which honestly does feel reasonable because that unit was fucking nuts. At like 130, it was insane. The amount of value you got for 130 was absolutely unhinged. And now they're 145. Okay. I guess that's okay. Ranged bioweapon warriors going down is fascinating. I do wonder if... Oh, it's in the Munitorum. Oh, you're so right. We talked about how they could change where leadership went. You're so right, chat. It is in the Munitorum. That's fucking sick. Let's go. We see in before our very eyes that the update to leadership, like dynamic leadership keywords, is huge. Well, you know what, chat? Fair enough. That's a good call out. I'm so glad they did that. That means that Zoanthropes get to be playable for a little bit. Let's go. They're so excited. So yeah, ranged bioweapon warriors is interesting. 60. So the data sheet you get for 60 is kind of unhinged. You get 15 5/1/1 melee attacks. And either like D6 plus 1 plus a bunch of other like D6 plus 1 plus 6 AP1 1 damage ranged attacks, or a venom cannon and a bunch of devour shots, which are like 4/0/1, but whatever, you get a million of them. But 60 points for 3 50 mil base models that in Warrior Bioform Onslaught are a 5+ invuln save at T5. Like, I do keep talking about how move 6 infantry is really bad, but we are at a point where we might be at the break point where it doesn't matter what their stats are. That unit is just good. 60 points for this datasheet is kind of baller, and they get fallback, shoot, and charge. Oh no, that could be sweet, chat. 60 points for a unit. That's like a nothing burger of a unit. Tyrannicide's massively down because he sucks. That's cool. Tyrannofexes went down a little bit. Venomthropes went down massively because they're not very good. I wonder if Venomthropes are playable like just by themselves. I know we were talking about this over the weekend. They have like an anti-infantry rate melee attack, but it's like 3/0/1 otherwise. Nah. I don't know. If for 5 more points we get the ranged bioweapon warrior unit with a bunch of guns and a like much better baseline melee attack against anything but like T6 infantry, even then I think it's probably still a wash because they're -1 to wound, but or they're it's almost better, certainly better to get the anti-infantry, but you do gain a little bit back on the AP pip. Well, I guess it's strength 6 on the warriors because they're synapse too, and synapse having access to multiple synapse units is like so much more valuable now. All right, no, I'm back in. I actually think the ranged bioweapon warrior unit might be sick. 60 points, bro. Oh my god, yeah, just like an action monkey. You just run them around. You can put one in reserve and like threaten your opponent's backline with it. That unit will kill an infinity of chaos cultists. You know what? You feel like, oh man, you know what I want to do? I want to kill chaos cultists. You just rapid ingress that motherfucker. They will kill the shit out of some chaos cultists. I'm kind of into it. I don't know. Also, Von Ryan's Leaper is at 60. It's the same melee profile. Oh, it's like a side grade melee profile for Von Ryan's. But you're almost twice as fast. When you have a 6+ Hypnol, that's cool. And stealth. But you lose the synapse keyword, which is big, or the synapse ability. which is a big deal. So they end up, they don't have a gun, and they are strength 5 instead of 6. But in Vanguard Onslaught, they advance and charge. I don't know about that one so much. I think I'm into Warriors if you're in Bioform Onslaught and you get the better invuln save. I'm probably into Leapers if you're in Vanguard Onslaught. But I still... Like, I guess this is good against a lot of utility, but there is some utility that just, like, doesn't really care about the 5-1 profile. And you want the punchier guns and stuff to deal with. Or just to be a tankier unit. Interesting. I do like 60 for Vion Ryan's Leapers. They do feel very competitive with each other, I think. Like, one's much faster, and the other one has like a higher strength characteristic and guns. Winged Type Tyrant went up a bunch. Get fucked, I guess. Winged Tyranid Prime stayed the same. I think there's a universe, and I think the first list in Tyranids I'm gonna try is triple Winged Tyranid Prime in Warrior Bioform plus Vanguard Onslaught. I think that's my favorite combo right now, because you just get a bunch of like real punchy dudes who are super fucking fast. Lictors remained unchanged, which is interesting, even though they lost Fights First, or they lost. Fights First changed to be stupid. Neat. I do think I might like Von Ryan's over a Lictor, yeah. It's just like... I don't know if I like either of them over a Neurolictor, though. Oh, Neurolictors went up slightly, which is unfortunate. You are still going to run into like the classic Tyranid problems where you just have a tough time actually murdering anyone. The last Rip Tyranid Prime certainly helps, right? Because like suddenly you have a unit that is like okay at delivery. And Hyper Adapted are good. Hyper Adapted not changing and Raveners not changing is pretty strong as well. Because I think this unit is one that gets really disgusting with the new hidden rules. Like, just being able to, like, up-down constantly and threaten a rapid ingress into hidden, into a position where you can just go murder someone's, like, objective is really, really gross. I do wonder if, like, double Ravener and a hyper-adapted unit is, like, basically guaranteed in a lot of lists. Especially because the hyper-adapted ingress for free as well, so it's just, like, a lot of command point economy. Hell yeah. I don't know. I'm kind of into Tyranids. The Hormigaunt increase is a little bit sad, but I understand it. The Neurotyrant increase, it doesn't... I guess Zoanthropes didn't go up, so the Neurotyrant increase is basically paying the 10 points for the Zoanthropes, which I guess I get. That makes sense. So I think the list I was playing earlier went up by, like, maybe 30 points. Oh, the Biovore went up. So it went up by 50, I think. Because the Biovore went up 10. Another Gene Stealer changed. The Hormigaunts that I was playing went up by a total of 10. And then the last Rip Tyranid Prime went up by 10 each. So that's 40. Biovore, Neurotyrant. So 50, yeah. With the Biovore. Biovore, Neurotyrant. Last Rip Tyranid Primes, Hormigaunts, yeah. It went up by 50 points. So I'd have to maybe cut a Hormigaunt unit or something. I don't know. Cut down a Gene Stealer squad. I didn't really like Gene Stealers, to be honest. Maybe I take one unit for like an Alpha Strike, but I don't know if I take two. I don't know. I'm going to play around with some lists. It's going to be interesting. Yeah, I used the Hyper Adapted plus the Raveners. I wanted to do funny slingshot plays with the big unit size because they're so fast. And you can either rapid ingress them 15 inches away into hidden or rapid ingress them 18 inches away into lone op in Vanguard Onslaught. And then you just close the distance and then you slingshot the alpha into like a second unit and you 2 for 1. It's really good. It was like super strong. I felt really strong. I felt very, very good about that combo. All right, Chance. So I think as we discussed, what I will likely do is figure out how to get the app onto my computer here. I'm going to take a quick break, and then I'm going to figure out how to do the app, and then what I'll probably do is do a second stream, same place, where we go through the rules addendum stuff. I wish it was a document. I expected a document, but I guess we didn't get one because I don't get what I want. But we'll just have to figure it out, and then I'll have it figured out for later. So I won't have to use like hacked third-party software, which is always kind of funny. Anyway, chat. With that, I'll probably see you in, I would say, between 30 minutes and an hour is likely to be the case, and it's gonna be good. So I'll see you then. Cheers, everyone. Keep it classy, folks, and have a good one.